Little hands, shoeless feet, lonely eyes looking back at me. Will we leave behind the innocent to grieve? On their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these, when we love the least of these. Break our hearts once again. Help us to remember when we were only children hoping for a friend. Won't you look around? These are the lives that the world has forgotten, waiting for doors of our hearts and our homes to open. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these, when we love the least of these. If not us, who will be like Jesus to the least of these? If not us, tell me who will be like Jesus to the least of these. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love. Little hands, shoeless feet, lonely eyes looking back at me. Will we leave behind the innocent to grieve? On their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God
Good morning and welcome to the King's Report this Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017. I'm your host, Sean Moon, second king of Cheongguk, here with my co-host, Tim, the Agent Elder. Let's go to Tim first for our AccuWeather forecast. Tim.
Good morning. It's 55 degrees and cloudy this morning at Cheongguk, and we seem to have made it through the wild fluctuations in temperatures. It's going up to 73 today, which is pretty much normal for this time of year, just about exactly normal. And the wind will be calm, just a small amount of wind to 5 miles an hour, north-northeast, gusting to 7 miles. And we'll have partly sunny skies later in the day. So it'll be a pretty normal day all the way around. This week we're expecting some rain on Thursday, but other than that, we should have clouds and sun and normal temperatures.
Wow. That's amazing. That's fantastic.
Normal is amazing.
It has been some wild fluctuations for a couple of days. We all made it through without getting colds.
Yes.
So that's a great blessing. We finally put in 7 koi into the pool pond.
Yes, I saw the video.
Did you see the video?
Yes.
Okay, you did see it. Here, guys, pick up that video on Facebook. Let's show everybody the koi release video. That was actually the third king as well with me. It's interesting. Amongst all the kids, he has the most interest in the fish. He has the most interest in the fish in the pond because of Wangappa and of him him too in his own capacity serving father from a very young age. But I put up some pictures. We have some. These are hikari koi.
I'm not a connoisseur, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm starting to research this because father's always had these koi in his ponds wherever, in Cheongpyeong, in the Cheongguk Palace. He's always had them Hannam for years, decades. I've never actually studied the koi tradition, and I just knew that they're beautiful, and I've seen the high quality ones too, but I didn't know why they're high quality. Okay, and I've just always loved the fish. I realize now, just studying them. I've been studying them, for a couple of days now, and so many different varieties. One website. Let me show everybody one website, which I have been researching, and that is Pond Digger. Pond Digger.
There's the video on your screen there.
There's a video. Okay, alrighty. Okay, let's put up that video. That's on my Facebook.
Folks. Okay, lift at the bottom.
Hey, there we go into the pool pond, and that's not the queen. That's the third king, and he is wearing a queen's jacket because it's raining outside.
Yes,
There they go. Whoa!
Alrighty. And the koi are moving.
And they have been
Yes,
released.
the koi are moving.
Cheonilgong Pond. Where'd they go? They disappeared. Can't see them.
Oh, very cool, very cool.
Fantastic.
So actually, we're also going to get some lilies and lotus, and those lilies and lotus
Just getting used to
will
the water.
be coming in, but they wouldn't sell them to us until after June 1st. So we have to go back. Oh, look at this. Look at all these variety of. I never knew there were this much variety. I always knew that there was differences, but there's Ochiba, which is the orange and white. What does Ochiba mean?
Means fallen leaves, like the autumn leaves, I guess
okay.
you'd say. Yeah.
Autumn leaves.
leaves on the ground.
Okay, so that's why it's orange and white. Then they have dragon koi, Kikokuryu, Kikokuryu. I guess Ryu is a dragon part. I don't know Kiko.
Or dew can be dragon or style.
Kokuryu. Kokuryu is black. Black
Yes,
dragon, right? I don't know what is ki kokuryu.
I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
I have to look at the Chinese
Kokuryu must be
characters.
black because they have a little bit of black. Oh, I see a little metallic black.
Ki could mean yellow.
No, because these are heavy. These have a metallic color. That's why they're known as dragon koi. And then we have hariwake koi. What is that?
All these words, I have to look at the Chinese characters, the kanji.
Then we
hard
have
to tell just from the
kujaku.
pronunciation.
Kujaku.
Kujaku is what do you call it? Not the pheasant, but the what's this? The bird with all the feathers.
Peacock?
Beautiful. Peacock, yes.
Oh wow, that's a peacock one. Interesting, because that's the red and white one. That's called the kujaku. I guess that's the one with the very strong splash of color. Then you have the hi utsuri here. Hi utsuri with the black and red one. Hi utsuri. Can you sense what that is?
Either sun
Oh,
reflection.
I see. Hi utsuri. Oh, maybe that's it because it's black and red. How about doitsu sanke?
Doitsu,
Doitsu sanke.
Germany. I don't know.
Doitsu? No, it can't be that.
Do
What about sanke? What is sanke? So you have to look at the kanji, right, too.
yes.
And hariwake? Do we do hari? No, that was the ochiba, and the hariwake is down here. Oh, that has more like a racing stripe. There's kohaku.
Kohaku is red and white.
Oh, kohaku would be red and white.
Yes.
But I thought shiroi is white.
Haku is the Chinese character. Kanji.
Oh, for okay.
Yes.
Then there's ginnin showa, which is like a golden.
Yin actually is silver, but
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Ginnin showa. So anyway, and then there's tancho showa. You know, tancho, it has like a red circle on their head. Can you sense what tancho means?
no, I can't.
Okay, anyways, the point is, there is so much to these beautiful fish. Actually, now that I think about it, these are probably some of the most beautiful fish in the natural created world. The color bursts on these fish, they were mentioning that, but it never struck me. These are probably the most brilliant color contrast in all of nature. And that's why I'm kind of like, it's like how do you say, it's like popping in terms of realization of why these fish are so prized. We saw one fish that this dealer had in Southern California, $60,000 for one fish. One fish, $60,000. One fish. Now, apparently the legend of have you heard of the legend of the Hanako koi? It is the ancient koi. It's the world's oldest koi. And apparently it died in 1977. Koi apparently also have like tree rings in their scales. They have growth rings in their scales. Did you know that? Isn't that fascinating? I didn't know. I had no idea. Apparently, if you take one of the scales, since they eat a lot during the hot season and the cold season, they just hibernate. They get a fast growth and a slow growth, and then you can see a difference in growth rings. It's like a tree. This koi, the Hanako koi, was passed down to many generations. Was then in this family, and they were told by scientists, if you want to test the age, because they were saying it's 500 years old, whatever. They were saying it's 200 years old. It's a 200-year-old koi. Nobody believed them. So they said, okay, if you want to test the age, just give a scale. Take a scale off and give it to the scientists. And these people were very angry about that because this is like their living ancestor. In Japan, they're pagan. So they're kind of seeing this as their living ancestor and worshiping kind of like a god, that's sad. But anyways, the point is, they sent this to the scientists. And then the scientists did the survey on the growth rings. They found this koi to be not 200 years old, but a measly 227 years old. Is that possible?
I guess it is.
Anyways, some people think it's a myth. Some people think it's a legend, but anybody in the koi world apparently knows the story. I never knew the story.
I don't. I did.
As you can tell, I was never really in the koi world, I guess, right? I'm very quick and sensitive with my eyes and balance and all that kind of stuff. But so I intuitively can sense the beauty. And of course, I've been around high quality koi because Father had them everywhere. So I've seen high quality koi, so I know what is high quality in that sense, not analytically, instinctually, okay, because I've never actually broken this down. Now I look into this now, there's a whole world of koi. There's the biggest Japanese koi festival every year. There's one koi. This koi is now selling for $2 million. $2 million.
It's beyond our budget.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, $2 million for this koi. It's actually gold. It's a golden koi. Let me show everybody this. You're going to be blown away by this. Look at this. $2 million koi. It's literally gold. Let's show everybody this. Anyway, this is a topic Father likes, so we can spend a little time on this on Hunduke. Everybody can get a little education on on koi. Now, I don't believe Father was an expert in identifying all these different names of koi, but Father loved koi. I mean, I would in East Garden too. My goodness, in East Garden too. East Garden too. Remember in the Hunduke room? Look at that koi. Look at that thing. That thing is gold. It's literally gold. This sold for 60,000 pounds in 1979 or something like that, or in 1980, in the 70s or 80s, in the early 80s.
Yeah.
It's gold. Look at that. It looks like gold. Now its estimated value is $2 million.
Wow.
Okay? That one fish, of course, which there is of which only one in the whole world. Look at that. It's also scaleless. Look at that. It doesn't have any scales, it looks like. There's no reticulation. I'm also learning about the whole intricate net pattern, which is called reticulation. When you're when you're looking at the koi, I just knew this instinctually, not analytically. Now I'm learning it analytically. You're supposed to look at the body form of the koi. The body form is very important. The width of the head, the width of the tail, the smoothness of the body, the sensitiveness of the skin between the scales. Do you know any of this? The symmetric nature of the various body parts. Okay. The alignment of the spine. Actually, color splash and all that is actually, they're saying, secondary to the body form. The body form is critical. You know, when people paint a naked woman, they have to paint the body form. Or when, the body form is very important. The proportionality. I did a whole lecture on the Fibonacci spiral, which is a ratio.
I remember that.
And it's all about ratios. But at the same time, koi also have these ratios. Okay? This is not a butterfly koi, which just look like giant goldfish, which is the reason why they're not really highly prized. But look at that koi. Look at that. Now this koi apparently, I guess, has a perfect body, and it's gold. So that would be. Look at that.
It almost looks like, the eyes are very.
It's dark. They're dark eyes. But look at the
Yeah.
color. Look at the color of that thing. It's gold. So that would be like, an actual goddess on this world. Of course, we don't believe in goddesses. So it's a beautiful, golden naked woman. I guess it's the queen. But that's how beautiful it is. It's literally golden in color. Look at that. It's gold. It's gold. I've never seen anything like that.
That's amazing.
That is now priced. I don't think the owners, obviously, the person who owns it is not, but the general estimate, $2 million. Holy Shemitah. So it's like literally like living art, living art that is floating around the pond. I mean that, and it's alive, and it can potentially live. I thought koi lived about 40 years. Okay, now the legend is that the koi is living. There's that koi that lives 227 years. I don't know if that's true. That would put that koi to be born in mid 1700s.
Yes.
Mid 1700s or early 1700s. That's outrageous. That is unbelievable. So there's all these different type of koi, which I had absolutely no at fish farm in Southern California, where this guy actually has all the contacts in Japan, and he also goes and hand picks them himself to Japan. This one I saw unbelievable. This is from Niigata. This is a rare koi with unbelievable striking white and black pattern. Something you've never seen, like you've never seen. And that's the fellow, the guy on the left, who actually is he's the koi master out there in California.
Is there also a way of the koi? Koi do?
I'm not sure. I've never heard of that. You know, I don't know when. Apparently, I don't know when this whole tradition of keeping koi began. I honestly don't know that much about the koi tradition, or what castles had the koi, what palaces had koi. I don't think Buddhist monasteries initially started with koi because they're supposed to believe in sentient beings and they're not supposed to keep animals.
Right.
Okay. And Buddhist monks are not supposed to keep plants even because they're supposed to have non-attachment. They're not supposed to be attached to anything. And even raising a plant, you have to worry about it. And there's a Korean monk that wrote about it, many years ago, writing about how he was raising a little potted bonsai plant. But he ended up having compassion for that plant, and every time he left the monastery, he was desiring that plant. So, oh my gosh, I have to water it. And then he realized one day, oh, I'm attached to this plant. And then, so he had to practice non-attachment and then separate himself from the plant, and then he got rid of it. Anyways, that's one of the points in Buddhism, because they're saying that suffering is created by, of course, ignorance, but then in the next aspect, it's created by desire. And when you have desire for something, then you have suffering because you long for it, you crave it, you want to care for it, etc., etc. And so the task in Buddhism is, of course, to not attach yourself to those things, and to live, quote, free. Of course, they warn also you can be attached to non-attachment, all these kind of things. Okay, anyways, the point is, I don't believe they started in the monastery. The tradition of koi. Are you finding something on that?
Yeah, I'm looking up the history of koi in Japan, and it says that they originated in the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, Central Asia and China. It says that they came into Japan around the 1st century.
Wow, 1st century.
And the emperor at the time imported them from China.
So they started in China then.
Yeah, well, they came to Japan from China.
First yearlings. Then they have Nisai, which is second yearlings. They're huge. I mean, the comparison between Tosai and Nisai, I couldn't believe it. They're humongous. Are you telling me those fish will be that big next year? That's unbelievable. Ours are like 5-6 inches, right? The Nisai get up to 10-12 inches.
Wow.
18 inches. What? That's almost tripling in size. In 1 year, I could not believe it. One bad thing about that, look at that pattern. No, keep that up on the screen. Keep it there you go. Hey, look at that. Look at that pattern. That is unbelievable. Look at that. And these guys are freaking out. They're just drooling at the mouth. They're just saying, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say about this. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Look at that. It looks like a smoke sumi. Sumi is black ink on Asian calligraphy.
Yes, it does, yeah.
It looks like black smoke on a white background, just like black ink. I mean, look at that. It's the contrast between the dark jet black and the super white, metallic white is incredible. I've never seen anything like that. Okay? Now, also, apparently, I didn't know this, okay? When you're looking at the yearlings, you have to imagine this fish will become that small now, so its pattern may be nice now, but as it grows, I didn't know that, the color red on the koi does not grow so much. It doesn't stay proportional to its body size. So if you get a spot that's this big, and that looks pretty big on a 5-6 inch thing, and it looks proportional on the head, when that thing grows up, it's gonna be a little dot on the head, and it'll move back on the fish, it'll be on the fin. And you won't be able to see that compared to its huge body. Some of these get to a meter long. Now, I didn't know this either. The black spots on the koi grow. So the red stays the same, basically, but the black color grows. Did you know this?
I didn't know that.
So I don't know if I actually chose good fish. That's my problem today. And my other problem is I left the stupid fish food at the dang fish farm. So I have to actually go down there and pick it up again, dang on it. But the point is, the black color grows on the fish. As it grows in size, the black actually grows. And you have to also look through the layers of skin and see if you see a blue layer, because that blue will turn black. So if you're choosing a black colored fish, which has nice balance with the red and the white at an early age, and it looks balanced now, when it grows, that black is going to overtake it and maybe have too much black on it. You see how subtle this art is?
Yes.
Now, essentially what this is, it's like genetically working with a species for thousands of years. Because you're saying that came into Japan in the 1st century. China has been doing it then for 2,000 years plus.
Yeah, it says 5th century BC in China.
5th century BC?
Yeah.
So they've been breeding koi and carp for, oh my gosh, 5th century BC, that's
At least in that,
seven
the earliest
centuries.
record is 5th century BC. It could be earlier than that.
So that's 7 centuries. 7 centuries.
5th century
I'm sorry,
BC.
sorry.
would be
Millennia.
26 centuries, 2,600 years.
Right. Oh, wait, 5th century. Okay, so 500 plus the 2,000, 2,500 years. Over 2,500 years of breeding koi, of human beings working with this species. That's amazing. That means if Jesus went to China, which Father said he should have done, or he would have done, Jesus would have seen koi. Oh!
Well, actually, yeah, I think.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Isn't that remarkable?
yeah.
Now look at these different colors. Here, look at these different colors here.
So
And that's incredible to me.
they've been in Europe since the 3rd century BC.
Europe since the 3rd
Yeah,
century.
so they originated in the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea,
Okay.
and they went to Europe through Cyprus and Greece.
Now look at these. These are called dragon koi or kokuryu, ki kokuryu. Ki kokuryu. Okay, which means black dragon, ki black dragon. This species was actually developed, this gene set was developed in the 1970s or 90s, something like that. It's a recent species. It's not species, it's a recent variety of koi. I didn't really know that, but basically we were seeing this
I
koi.
see.
These koi float up to you, right? They come up to you and they actually, if you train them well, they can eat from your hand. Like the fish farm we went to yesterday, they eat from your hand. Big ones, big ones. I never thought of koi like this, but it's literally moving art. Look at that, it's a moving art piece. So, in Cheongguk, this would be important because we always talk about assets, right? We talk about kings and queens must think in terms of assets, not paper money. You must think in terms of assets. Another type of asset, we talk about assets, what assets were. Networks, human relationships, the people you know, gold, silver, family, children. Children are an asset. They're not a liability. See, the modern world sees children as a liability. But if you have freedom and responsibility, children are an asset to you, not a liability. They're an asset to the family. Okay? So having a lot of children also is an asset. Land, owning your land, private property is an asset. Guns, bullets are also an asset because they allow you to defend, or weapons. Okay? They allow you to defend those assets. So they are an asset. Also, art is an asset. Did you know that?
Yeah, art.
Art is an asset. It doesn't depreciate in value. Hardly. Good art does not depreciate. It increases in value. Right? Just like good land. Just like that one koi fish that started as a tosai, eventually now becoming a goldfish, gold koi, $2 million. Now that's an asset that has exponentially grown in asset value. Okay? So even in Chaniguk, it's important to think in terms of assets. And if you have a koi fish, that actually is an asset, isn't it?
Yes.
If you have a good one. Because that's like $60,000 floating around in your pond. And it's only valuable if it's alive. So if somebody wants to steal it, they have to steal it and keep it alive. They can't steal it and kill it. Isn't that interesting? Go ahead, Tim.
Kikokuryu is I found the site with all the Chinese characters for the.
Oh, let's show that site. What is that site called? I want to hear. I want to see
It's
that.
www.catch with a K, katch.ne.jp.
Wait. Cats, KATC?
KATCH
Okay.
.ne.jp.
Any.jp. Okay. Okay, nice.
And then within that.
Oh, wow. You found the real deal.
So Kikokuryu down here is shining black or brilliant black, I guess. Brilliance.
I don't see it. This doesn't look like KATCH.
.ne.jp, but then you have to go in to
Oh, you have to-
slash then the little squiggly sign.
Okay. I can't find that.
And
Okay, I can find this. The koi, though.
Kikokuryu is the key is a brilliance or shining or brilliant. You know.
Oh, that's what it's like. The key, like hikari key.
Hikari, but then the hikari on the left, but then something on the right as well. Army, gun, military on the
Oh, okay.
Kun.
Interesting.
yeah. So it means
Interesting.
brilliant or shining. The
Wow.
brilliant.
Brilliant
or
black
shining
dragon.
Black, yeah. So, brilliance.
So that's another variety as well. Look at that. See, it looks like a black dragon. It's like a gunmetal. It looks like a gunmetal. They describe it as a gunmetal.
And dew,
silver.
Dew is a dragon, yes.
Dew is a dragon. So they're like floating dragons. Okay. Now the ones that we got are the cheap ones. They're cheaper. Okay.
What are those?
They're the tosai, hikari,
Hikari koi?
hikari koi. There's also sakai koi, which is just about $10 more. But this is just tosai. This is only first yearlings. Okay, I don't know how the patterns will change. See, this is the problem. They're actually suggesting, everybody starts with tosai or the first year, but they're suggesting as you go, you got to get at least the second year. Because the second year, now that jumps up the price. That jumps from $50, $50 to $55 for a Japanese imported koi, tosai, first year. That jumps to $400, $300, $400 in 1 year. 1 year, your money has, what is that, 50 to 300? What is that?
6 times.
Sextupled. Sextupled. Is it sextupled or sextupled? Sextupled. Your money has sextupled in 1 year. You see what I'm talking about? Assets?
Yes.
1 year, your money has sextupled. Isn't that fascinating?
That's fascinating.
So, I don't know how these koi would turn out. I hope they turn out good. We got one that is definitely key. One is shiny. One is Ki Ginryu.
キギンジュ
I think so. I'm not sure. Or maybe I'm making up the name. Kinyu, not Ginyu, Kinyu. It looks golden. The guy, it's small, but the fish looks completely golden. It's not only yellow, metallic yellow. When you shine a light on it, it's gold and has the metallic gene in there. So some koi has yellow color, but then they have a metallic yellow, which makes it look gold. This one is like a deep yellow, looks almost gold, but then with the metallic flash inside the skin set, it actually shines and shimmers gold. Now, you're never going to be able to find it because it's so small and it's in there and you can't, now it's hiding in that huge pool of 3,000 gallons or however many. How many gallons is that? Is that 30,000 gallons?
No idea.
I can't remember. Maybe Greg knows. Amma, can you call Greg in to ask him how many gallons that pond is? Now, this is important that we're doing this during Hundoke because oftentimes Father would talk about fishing during Hundoke and learning about the koi altogether with the whole sanctuary worldwide. This is a great exercise because they too may want to start breeding goldfish at sanctuaries worldwide. Now, I'm not saying that's an order, okay? That is not, this is another part of Chanigo culture.
Yes.
Of course, the King of Kings did, Father did it, but we can see it as asset value, as assets that will increase value. They'll appreciate in value as you go. Greg, do you know how many gallons this pond is? Is it 3,000 gallons or 3,000?
This out here?
Yes. How do we?
No, I
Three-
don't know.
Do you have no idea?
No idea.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. 3,000. I don't know how big this pond. Okay, I don't know how big the pond is. Anyways, we were worried that the koi would die upon arrival. I hope they're not dead. I haven't seen them today. But they were doing fine for many hours yesterday. Swimming around, looking around. We finally saw wildlife in there. We saw those little bugs with the legs. I don't know, they're called water boat bugs or something? Water boat bugs?
Boatman or something like that.
Boatman? Oh yes, boatman bugs or something. I guess because they look like a rowboat. They have two legs, maybe like a little
It
oars.
looks like they're rowing, yes.
Maybe that's why they call it a boatman. But now the koi have entered in, and we also got water lettuce, cattail, which is all good survival food as well. Cattail we got. We also got water hyacinth, which is a floating plant, along with the water lettuce. And we also got, what else did we get? What kind of plant did we get there? What was the other? Oh, parrot feather. Parrot feather water plant. That just grows on the surface. And we have to go back after June 1st to go pick up the lotus and the lilies.
They wouldn't sell it to you until June 1st?
Yes, because they don't want a failure rate. They're saying it's too cold right now. So they want people, when they buy it, if you do it now, it'll kill it.
I see.
So they say they don't sell it because they have a failure rate. Their customers have a ton of failure rate before June 1st. So they're going to wait until June 1st to sell it. Also, Denton said we have to get mosquito fish because now I do start seeing a lot of mosquito gathering. I don't know if they're laying eggs probably, but they are starting to gather on the pond, which is fine. That's a natural processes. But now we have to get the mosquito fish, which are tiny little fish, which will hunt them around. Okay. So as you can see, if you go out and actually look at the koi in the pond, they're almost invisible because they're so small compared to that size of that pond. All right. Now, True Father had koi that were massive. They were huge.
Yes, I saw them. And I saw the ones in Hanamdo.
The ones that Hanum, Ambrang told me they were in the tens of thousands of dollars for one. Okay, so that's not the highest level, obviously, but that's a very high level in Korea. That's like a presidential level in Korea. And so I'm used to seeing, of course, those big ones like that, huge, 1 meter long, like, big. Maybe not 1 meter, but very large. When you go here, they're almost invisible because they're only yearlings. But hopefully, within 1 year, they will triple in size.
Now, will your koi reproduce?
I believe so. I believe they will reproduce. Sure. Yes, because also another part of raising koi is the eggs. Apparently, yes, they will reproduce. They will reproduce. Not just naturally, they will reproduce. It's interesting because when I put them in, it's so beautiful how they move as a school. They go explore, but then they always come back together and they move together. There's now 7 in there. Okay. Historically, you would need 9. You need an odd number. And Father talked about odd numbers because you need a center number, center for all the group. And so that's why Father said he needed 13 children, not just 12. Because there need to be a center. So I'm thinking, and of course we have 11 candles on the altar representing at the stage after perfection, which is the kingdom. That Father talked about the number 11. So that's why we have 11 candles. So I'm thinking about, Denton said we could probably handle about 10 koi to 20 koi with the aeration that's coming in, and maybe 20 catfish. I don't know. I'm going to play with that ratio. I may do 30 koi and do 10 catfish. Because actually, in a survival situation, you can eat the koi.
Yes.
You can. You
So
can eat.
originally they were for food, yes. Yeah.
You can eat them. There is a way to fillet them, but they are apparently very bony. If you have a blender, you can blend them.
But a $10,000 steak, that's
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
it's an expensive steak.
If you're in a survival situation, you got to do what you got to do. But, anyways, I may go. I'm probably gonna go 20. I may go 30, 10. I may go 20, 20. We'll have to see. I probably 20, 20 because then the catfish we can actually eat. We can eat them.
Catfish, yes.
We can eat them. But this is my first time actually having to raise koi. Now, apparently, with all the koi, you have to do tons of work with a filter, tons of things with the water clarity, water cleanliness, all this kind of thing, which is worrisome to me because I don't intend to use a filter in that pond. I intend it to be a natural ecosystem, which has algae. It's green. For the untrained person, it looks just a dirty pond, but it will be a natural ecosystem, which will have frogs, all that. I don't want crystal clear water. Now they're saying at the highest levels, you need the crystal clear water. You need those, but they're doing it more for viewing
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Yes.
I want this to be a natural pond where when you see these koi come up, they're appearing from this very rich bio environment, okay? And then they come up and you see the splash, the explosion of color.
Yeah, I think I've seen ponds that are definitely not crystal clear with koi.
Yes. Now, Hanamdong would get algae ridden, but every couple months, Mr. An would have to get in there. He would reduce the water level, keep them. He would actually move them. He would move them to a different pool inside. Inside, he had a storage system. So he would move them. Then he would actually scrub out the whole pond with brushes, and a whole team of guys would come in and scrub it down. And then they would put more water in. I never liked that. I never liked that because it looked so unnatural. You don't go anywhere in the wild where you see clear bottom ponds, unless it's some kind of lake or there's movement of water. So I never really liked that because I always felt it was unnatural, and I always felt it was. Who's that lady with white hair out there? Is that an old lady out there taking a picture? Oh, it's a young lady? It's a young girl? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. It looks like she had white hair. I guess she dyed her hair. But the point is, there is real detail in these fish. And look how massive they get. Look how big they get. Look at this picture here of how large these koi. Look at this here, up here. See this? And this, the Japanese guy holding this koi? Huge. Very big size. Okay? But apparently these black spots get bigger with age, whereas the red spots do not grow as much. And they move. Like, you see this guy here? You see this red on his face? As he grows, that will move backwards on his body. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I may have chosen terrible fish.
I don't think that's true. I'm sure that they were. I'm sure
I'm
they turned out
very
great.
worried about it. I only chose one that's white and red so far. But thank God I watched this video. Because now when I have to go back, because we're going to stock a couple more fish, I know that I have to watch out for the red spots and I have to watch out for the black spots. The black spots will grow in large size, dimension. So a very interesting harvest. Oh, and look at this. Our Rima is talking about harvest. It's talking about, first of all, the section before that. There's two. This is Revelation 14. Revelation 14 and 14. That begins when the Lord, the Son of Man, that once like the Son of Man sitting on a white cloud. Then I looked and behold a white cloud, and on the cloud sat one like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, "Thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time has come for you to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe." So he who sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And this was my rima today. Then another angel came out of the temple, which was in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar who had power over fire, and he cried with a loud cry to him who had the sharp sickle, saying, "Thrust in your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine in the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe." So the angel thrust his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine in the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. The winepress was trampled outside the city, and blood came out of the winepress up to the horses' bridles for 1,600 furlongs.
Wow. That's a lot of blood.
It's a lot of blood. But very interesting, very interesting. The whole iconography of the sickle. You know, that's another iconography of the end time revelation, the sickle, which is a curved blade which harvests. In this case, when the sickle is pressed into the clusters of the vines of the earth, as her grapes are fully ripe, the angel thrust the sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trampled outside the city, and blood came out of the way. Look at that. So as they trampled the grapes, blood came out from the grapes. It always goes back to lineage, doesn't it? The harvest always goes back to lineage, to blood. The harvest always goes back to bloodlines. Oh, wow, whoa. See that? Bloodlines and lineage. Look how important bloodlines are. When you're dealing with, like for example, koi fish, bloodlines are critical. This bloodline with that bloodline mixes to make this new variety. Whoa, see this? High level dogs, this bloodline with that bloodline, or this bloodline you have to keep pure to keep that dog in Shih Tzu, whatever it is, you know? Anybody who works with animals, oh, look at this. Anybody who works with animals that increase in asset value, you must be cognizant of bloodline. Oh, wow. You see this? This is amazing. You must be cognizant of blood. You must be aware of bloodline, blood lineage.
Absolutely. Aju.
Wow. The kingship of God. Look at this, folks. The kingdom of God is centered on from one king, the King of Kings. Now, the King of Kings has God's seed and sperm, spermata, in the Bible called it. That one seed creates an actual kingship. Okay? That one kingship holds the power of the extension of that bloodline. Through the power of the blessing, we now extend the bloodline to restore the fallen lineages of the people who received the blessing. The bloodline of the elders, the bloodline of the Kangs, the bloodline of the Lees, the bloodline of the whatever, you know? They are restored to God's side through the blessing and putting on the body of Christ.
Yes. Praise God.
Now, at some point, Father did say, all your children must marry into Father's bloodline. Because Father's bloodline will only continue
Yes.
to expand exponentially. But Cheonyugul is a kingdom, at least which at its core has those who are connected by bloodline to the King of Kings. Okay? Connected by bloodline. Now, that's another thing that we didn't mention in assets of Cheonyugul bloodline. That's a major asset.
Maybe most important. Yeah, one of the most important at least.
You know, for normal people who don't have any contact with nature or don't raise animals and do not try to understand high quality of animal or the highest valuable animal, the value for animals. To them, bloodline is a moot point. They're only looking at the existence of that animal in front of them, not looking at the long chain of connection which brought that animal to you. And I'm not talking about connection in some kind of, macro evolutionary mythological way, which basically macro evolution is, it's mythology. Microevolution being within species, like small dog, big dog, Chihuahua versus Great Dane, that's microevolution, that's fine. But Christian can believe in that. Macro is when you have all this, you have everything from cosmological evolution to, single cell amoebas coming out of nowhere. And there's no evidence for that. That's never been reproducible. It's never been able to be even closely mimicked. And then of course you have the massive jumps in the fossil line with the massive changes in species, which has never been shown to be able to have transitionary species and or, of course, intermediate species. Of course, they were trying to do this with Lucy and the chimpanzee, but it just turns out Lucy was a chimpanzee. They were trying to say it's the middle between a human and a Homo sapien and this and that. So macroevolution is mythology. Has absolutely no proof for it, but they teach it as if it's fact, which is why it's a cult. But anybody who does not work with animals, I'm starting to feel and realize, you're not going to get the connection of lineage as easily. Maybe that's why Father enjoyed the Khoi so much. They have a long 2,500 year line of lineage. And only the certain lineages can produce the high quality Khoi. Ooh, you hear that? Whoa. Only certain lineage can produce high quality. Not all lineage produces high quality. So there is a critical importance on which seed you are connected to. In the modern world, girls are taught to see sperm as something nasty and, that's sick, No, sperm is so important. It's the seed. The sperm is the one that determines the sex and gender of the main identity. Mm-hmm. Not only main identity, but the main calling. Your first calling is whether you're a boy or girl. Mm-hmm. Your first calling is whether or not you will be a boy or girl. All this crazy genetic, I can choose my gender, all this stupid. This is simply a rebellion against your first identity, your main identity as a male or a female. And they always try to relativize, we're 99% the same and we have 1% difference. That's total baloney, by the way. There's a wonderful video by Paul Joseph Watson about gender, which he puts. I got to show that today because we're talking about genes and gender. Let me see that. Guys, pull up that video by Paul Joseph Watson, Truth About Gender or something like that. It's his recent video about gender and sports. Why men dominate in sports. Well, the feminists say it is because of sports gender bias. They live in fantasy land. There you go. There you go. That's that video. There it is.
So a while back I was having this debate with a feminist. She claimed that women could compete with men at soccer but weren't allowed to because of gender segregation in sports. And
Oh, that's
forced
right.
by
Gender
patriarchy.
segregation.
This shit writes itself. Have you ever watched women's soccer? Yeah, not noted for its high quality. Look what happened when the professional, international Australian women's soccer team played a team of 15-year-old boys. The 15-year-old boys team won 7-0. They called this a shock
you hear that?
result. It wasn't a shock result. Even at 15, the boys were physically superior to a highly trained team of adult
Okay, stop.
female professionals.
Did you hear that?
Feminist blogs like this one
The
claim-
Australian international professional soccer team. Professional women's soccer team. Now, this is not bashing women. This is the Australian professional international women's team. This is soccer, okay? This is a more feminine sport. This is not a masculine sport, and not a contact-based sport where you are literally trying to kill the other person, okay? It's not like Thai boxing. It's not like jiu-jitsu. It's not like MMA. It's not like even American football. This is a very feminine sport, soccer. I know people who play soccer that say, "Oh yeah, it's a lot of contact." Shut up. I'll show you some contact, okay? Give me a break. That's contact sport. It's not a contact sport, okay? So this is one of the more feminine sports, and the international Australian team. Women's professional team, played a team of 15-year-old boys. That is before high school. When do you enter high school? When you're 14. When you're in high school.
15 is
15
probably
is high school.
about-
That's
about
10.
first year of high school, I would
First year of
imagine,
high
yes.
school, okay?
About
Those are high school boys. They played high school boys.
probably 9th or 10th grade, yeah.
And they got slaughtered. This is the professional paid women's team. They got slaughtered 7-0 by 15-year-old boys who are obviously not professionals. There's just some high school kids. They're probably pretty good, but there's some high school kids, and they crushed the international women's soccer team. That's just reality. Okay, go ahead. Play this video. Go ahead.
Cultural biases are to blame for men outperforming women, and that sex segregation in sports needs to be abolished.
For me, it's patronising that women are treated differently, as if the only way a man can be competed against is by making things easier for women.
Men being better at sports has nothing whatsoever to do with culture, society, or the patriarchy. Men are physiologically stronger than women, which is why they are significantly better at the vast majority of sports. It's basic frigging science.
Oh no.
Biological males have more testosterone, which makes them more competitive. Men have naturally higher levels of anabolic steroids, which helps them recover stamina quicker. Men have higher hemoglobin counts in their blood, which helps circulate oxygen better around the body. Men have greater muscle mass. They have thicker tendons. They have more bone density. That's why they can punch harder, kick a ball further, throw longer, run faster, and swing a racket with more power. In the few endurance sports that women are better than men, like long-distance swimming, it's women's physiological differences that give them the edge. Women are better at endurance swimming because they have more body fat than men and are more buoyant. So again, even when you flip it round, it's physical. It has nothing to do with culture, society, or the patriarchy. Men are naturally
The
better
patriarchy.
at sports. Deal with it. But there's such rampant misandry that feminists still refuse to accept this manifestly provable objective fact. They want mixed sports teams, which would just make everything shitter and less entertaining. It would actually create far less opportunities for women because the vast majority of female sportswomen wouldn't be able to compete alongside men.
I love the WNBA.
Liar,
I learned a little bit from them as well.
liar,
They make the game extremely exciting to watch.
liar. Look, there's a reason why people watch far less women's sports. And it ain't the patriarchy. What happens when male to female transgenders compete against women? They all completely crush the opposition.
'Cause they're
Transgender
men.
weightlifter Laura Hubbard, born a man, just broke a world record, beating her nearest female competitor by 19 kilograms. Runner Caster Semenya, a hermaphrodite with 3 times the normal testosterone than other women. She completely dominates them. Transgender MMA fighter Fallon Fox, born a man.
That's a man.
After Fox defeated Tamika Brents, breaking her eye socket, Brents, herself a strong fighter, said, quote, "I've never felt so overpowered ever in my life." That's because no matter what gender pronoun you call yourself, biology is king.
Serena Williams won a Grand Slam while she was pregnant, so every man should probably shut up about everything forever.
Yeah, millions of men won a world war while under constant threat of death. She played tennis. Look, women are better at some things and men are better at other things. And that's okay. Most of the things that women are better at than men are more important than sports anyway. Child rearing, empathizing. Women live longer. They're more likely to get a college degree. But men are better at committing suicide, being homeless, dying in the workplace, dying in wars, being killed by car wrecks, and being constantly lectured by the dominant culture about how worthless and pathetic we are.
Wrong.
Yeah, we've got it so great. Gee, thanks, patriarchy. This anti-science, social justice agenda to force contrived equality down everyone's throats, even at the expense of empirical reality, is ludicrous. They have to hide the fact that men and women excel at different things to maintain
They have to have
the
some
illusion
little
that there are
jellyfish
fundamental
twerp like Bill Nye,
biological
the
differences
anti-science guy.
between the sexes.
Talk about
there are. They even
men
cut
and
a
women.
segment from a Netflix version of Bill Nye's 1996 show, which explained how chromosomes determine one's gender.
See,
Did you hear that?
inside each of our cells are these things called chromosomes, and they control whether we become a boy or a girl.
Now, gender is anything you
They
want
cut
it to
that
be
out.
on a whim, on a day-to-day basis.
Take sex. We used to think it was pretty straightforward. X and a Y chromosome for males, 2 X's for females. But we see more combinations than that in real life.
And he still calls himself the science guy.
Okay, hold on, pause there.
What?
Bill Nye the Science Guy apparently has an undergraduate degree, a bachelor's in electrical engineering or something like that. And this idiot runs around pretending he's a scientist. He's literally on Tucker Carlson saying, "We in the science community, he's a freaking actor." Can you believe this? And this is the idiot the left puts around because he looks like some kind of scientist, but wearing a damn bow tie. Talking about science to push their gender bending narrative and their mythology of gender bending. They actually had to cut out a segment of his original episode, which he had a part of. X means you're a girl, XY means you're a boy.
He began his career as a mechanical engineer.
A mechanical engineer. The guy has a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and he walks around pretending he's a freaking scientist. And nobody checks on this guy. They just think, oh, because he wears a white jacket and says he's in the science community, he must be a scientist. And they listen to this idiot pumping out mythology. Meanwhile, we get lectured that the Bible is mythology and Christianity is mythology and all the religions are mythology, but science and macroevolution is not mythology. We just won't show you the proof for it. You just have to believe that it happened like this. And then when Christian apologists actually had to challenge them, you can see the scientists, the quote scientists saying, well, it's quite obvious that you don't know science because everybody in the scientific community agrees on this.
He's actually not a scientist. He's a science communicator.
He's a freaking hoax. He's an actor. And this idiot is walking around trying to pretend he's a scientist, literally fooling all these young, brain-dead, dumb kids believing this crap. Men and women can do everything men can't. No, you can't. Not at the same level. That's why seeing this, that's why women need weapons.
Yes.
You will not be able to fight a trained man who's larger than you and be successful at it. The odds are 1,000,000 times 1 against you. The only way you're able to equalize that is by using and bearing arms. Just like I would not fight Cain Velasquez in MMA because that guy is a beast. He's a heavyweight and he's a master at all the arts of MMA. Why would I want to fight him? You see what I'm saying? He's an Olympic level wrestler. He is a top level former heavyweight champion of the world for the UFC. You never would want to get in a fist fight with that kind of person.
No, you wouldn't.
Now you have these women, deluded, crazed, arrogant, narcissistic, psychopathic women who literally think because they watch Charlie's Angels, they can beat up Cain Velasquez. They're smoking crack. They're high on the drug of delusion and of ideology and of cultish brainwashing, being told that women can beat up men because that's all they've seen in Star Wars, and that's all they've seen in Charlie's Angels, and that's all they've seen in Tomb Raider, and that's all they've seen in Angelina Jolie with her little twig-like little limbs beating up these huge MMA fighters in the movies. Angelina Jolie will get her bones snapped in half by an amateur. She'll be snapped in half. A man who is trained, punch her in the rib once, he'll smash her ribs open. I mean, this is how stupid these kids are. They're so brainwashed. There are differences physiologically. Any of the girls who train, they know. There's a massive difference when you're training with girls and then you train with a boy. It's like fighting somebody 2 times faster, 2 times stronger, even though they have the same muscle density. I mean, the queen was so shocked when she had to fight Caleb, who's skinny young kid. What is that, 14 years old? Something like that. She was shocked. And jiu-jitsu, out of all the arts, you're able to take away the advantages of your opponent. But still, she was shocked how fast he was. Shocked how relentless he was. But he's, Ema was shocked when she got defeated by Kitesa, who's getting better at using technique. But he's in no way dominates the other boys. I mean, he beats Rio once in a while, sometimes, recently. I mean, they can only imagine how, for example, dominated they would be by somebody like me, who is way bigger, and I'm very skilled. I mean, they can't even imagine. They can't even imagine. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Somebody at my level and my weight, I'm about 200 pounds, but I'm at an advanced level. I can dominate, and the boys all feel it. I play around. I literally toy with them. And everybody comes, they see it. I toy with them. They can't do anything. Anything. Now imagine if I was actually serious and with a girl, right? And do that it's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. Now, when you get higher level and stuff like that, yes, then you can equalize those things, but it's still, when you have the same amount of level, all the weight difference starts mattering. Now, how do you neutralize that? You neutralize it by using weapons. That's how you neutralize it. That's why in Chanigo, girls have to learn how to use the weapon arts too. Because you can't be deluded thinking empty hands. No. You may be able to defeat a man bigger than you who is unskilled, but you'll never be able to defeat, or very unlikely, that you will defeat a man who is equal or better technique, who will be more athletic, heavier, stronger, more testosterone, more anabolic steroid, more bone density, more muscle mass. What are you gonna do? I mean, they had this cult around Ronda Rousey, literally thinking she can just beat up all these MMA fighters who are men. She'll get killed by the men who are way less weight than her. I mean, she's now getting destroyed by women in her same weight class because they're finding out her weakness. She got demolished by the current women's champion. Destroyed, punched, knocked her face out. She got knocked out by Holly Holmes. And these are women in her same weight class that are now starting to dominate her. Yes, there is a difference between male and female. And that's why there's sexual differentiation. God made us different. You know, he says women are better for child rearing. I don't know what exactly he means by that. I don't think that's the case all the time. Women may be better in terms of physical child rearing because, you know, feeding the breasts, obviously they have breasts and they're able to feed the child, whatever, nourish it better than a man in terms of milk and stuff at an early age. But historically, men had to keep providing meat for that child. He had to keep providing sustenance because the woman is immobile when she's pregnant. And then after pregnancy, she's basically immobile. She can't go hunting with a little baby, screwing up your hunting. It starts crying and the deer runs away. You're like, you stupid baby, I'm going to eat you now. I mean, give me a break. You can't do that. Women have been immobile when they're pregnant, and also after the pregnancy, they have to tend to that child. But women who raise their children alone destroy those children. That's a statistic in terms of comparing single motherhood compared to father and motherhood. 11 times more domestic violence. 11 times. So single moms create the most dangerous environment, especially when they have a boyfriend. Most dangerous for young children. Absolutely the most dangerous. 11 times more dangerous potentiality for domestic bullying. Bullying is also one of it. Bullying and beating. Violence. Where it leads to actually beating the child. Okay? So it is by far the single most dangerous environment for a child to live in. So I don't agree with him the fact that women are better than men at child rearing. Now what he means by that, I don't know. Studies show that fathers involved with the children in child rearing, in educating their children, that those children become different. They have less criminal crime. Even if you just have a father in the house compared to a single mom. Less crime, less drug use, higher retention of marriage, higher future income, everything goes up. Everything goes up. Even if it's a bad father, it's actually better than no father. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
A bad father is better than no father. That's so contrary to what the dominant culture beats into young girls from a young age. They're told that any whiff of masculinity in a father is bad, and that all fathers should be castrated, essentially feminized, and be pushed out of society. That women should dominate. That just creates a totally dysfunctional society. Why? Because the men won't listen to you women. You see it when you have your children. As soon as that man, that little boy, starts having a deeper voice in you, he's no longer intimidated by your, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. So you say, shut up, woman. A little boy will do that at 14 years old. He will start challenging that woman. And if she's acting violent, you see what happens. A little 14-year-old boy. You see, that's why women, you need to have your husband. That's why God gives the best formula. Respect your husband unconditionally. He's going to be the greatest asset for you when you raise your children. No, but you can do it alone. You can do it. This is what they're brainwashed. No, you can't. Not if you actually care for your children and don't want to put them into 11 times more danger because of you. Yes, you are dangerous. They don't want to believe it. Girls don't want to believe that. Anybody can be dangerous. When you deal with children, you have to really have control of your emotions. If you don't have control of your emotions, you will lash out. You will want to abandon them. You will want to throw them. I would never do it. People want to do that with a freaking dog that drives them nuts and pees on the floor. How can we throw this dog away? Your husband is your greatest asset. He is going to, if you really care about your children, and mothers do, they do, I know they do. Mothers do care for the children. It's that usually their own narcissism trumps their love for their children emotionally, and then their own emotional comfort trumps that because they're not reflective emotionally. But if they're emotionally reflective, then they can stop that. But usually women are not trained to be emotionally reflective in this society. They can do no wrong in this society, which of course is being totally debunked. And the internet is great for that because it shows women, you can be so stupid too. And you better admit that. You better admit that you can make terrible decisions and terrible mistakes and destroy people's lives. Because that's not only what you should be telling men, that's what you should be telling women too. That's how you build responsibility. Now, if a woman is more responsible and from a young age she's learned that she's not a perfect goddess, and that she does have sin and she does create sin, she does create suffering for other people when she acts stupid and immature, then that woman now has actually what's called self-reflexivity, a little more than a child that never heard that. And oh, you're a sincere girl, you're worship, and oh, everybody's doing everything for you. But then you have to be angry at everybody for doing everything for you because you have to believe that you did all yourself. It's a delusional cult. Oh, gender segregation is the reason why they don't allow you to perform next to men. Gender segregation is the reason why people watch the NBA versus the women's NBA. You see this? It's total brainwashing delusion. Now, there are things that he mentioned that women are better at. And I would say from a PPP militia aspect. For example, sniper shooting. Women can be better than men because that's no physical attributes, no like bone density, muscle mass, anabolic steroid, testosterone doesn't really have an impact on that. You see? So as soon as a woman is able to harness the power of technology and weapons, then she's able to defeat the strongest male without a weapon. See, this is the reason why in Chaniguk, women have to learn how to train these arts. That's why from a young age, they'll be doing peacekeeping militia. They will be using these arms and they won't be scared of them. Because the weapon gives you the advantage over brute force. It gives you advantage even over a lion, which is way stronger than a physical man. Now, what are you going to do when you're a senior citizen? You're 8, you're older. You have to now defend yourself potentially against armed robbers that are 18, 17 years old, who have massive testosterone. Even if you're just senior citizen, right? You have a huge age difference now. Now you're way weaker than them, physically. You need a weapon. Your weapon will equalize that differentiation and will be able you to stop that physically more dominant individual. You see that? That's why in Chaniguk, that's why, of course, I'm proud of the queen, even though she's not perfect at it. She should be carrying more than once a week. Even that she's sinful on. I have to be ragging on her booty all the time, saying, carry, come on. She knows I carry all the time when I leave this, if I can, in this state, okay, in this legally. If I can, I'm always carrying because that's my duty, it's my responsibility. Now, how to instill that within girls, this is a freaking challenge. Girls are just, they live, because she's around strong men too. So she lives in a comfortable zone of protection. And I always go with her everywhere, okay? I don't let her leave my sight. No, I'm just joking. But I'm usually with her always, okay? But the times that she has to go, to the women's meeting or whatever, and she goes alone, then I say, okay, now you have a real reason why you should be carrying today. What if you're in the women's group and you're drinking your cute little coffee and having your cute little talks, and some dude walks in, all drunk, remember like that guy who was all bloody, his hands are all bloody? He's on heroin. And he comes in and saying, this or that, ranting about this or that, which has happened at the church. What are you going to do? Okay, so you may have some girls that the king is training jiu-jitsu. Okay, so maybe you can, as a group, try to dominate it. But you're going to get blood all over your hands. You don't know if this guy has AIDS. You don't know if this guy has the Black Plague, for all you know. Okay? What are you going to do? You're going to go up and get all bloodied up with this guy? And what do you do if he start pull out a knife and he's walking towards you? Then you have to run up to him with a knife. And the guy has a knife and he's on heroin. Now the girls are starting to have a conscience. She actually said that she had a conversation with one of her Japanese friends who also trains. That I'm training now. She's one of my disciples, students. And she said they actually had the talk like, because some guy walked in and if that guy walked in, then we're ready. We should. I don't want to. She's smart because she says she doesn't want to be deluded. Because she doesn't train with very big guys like 200 plus pounds. The level of strength is completely different from fighting a 135 pound guy. Like even my boys who are 135 pound, 145 pound, 150 pounds, basically around that weight, they just play with her. They just toy with their mommy when it comes to actual fighting. She knows there's no comparison. And that's a 150 pound man, young man. You know what I'm saying? Which is a very small man. The normal man in Pennsylvania is going to be big. I mean, there's a lot of guys over 200 pounds. I'm not necessarily a humongous guy. I'm tall for an Asian person and for American too. I'm relatively tall. But I am not massive. I'm not like 250 pounds of pure muscle at 6'2". I mean, when I have to train with guys that big, I really feel dominated. especially if they're high level. How is she going to stand up to those kind of people? No way. There's no way. So, of course, we are very proud of the Queen because she does step up and she's setting a great example for the young girls worldwide, being an incredible role model. Actually, the girls in Japan really see her like a movie star, like role model, because not only they don't get to train with her directly, but they see her doing all these badass things, like doing jujitsu and shooting and knife training and samurai arts now. But she's also has her things too. She does her painting and she does her cute things and she loves Totoro and all this cute stuff. I have no problem with that. I like that. I think that's cute too. But she's setting a good example for the people of Cheonggyegung. But she's not there yet. And of course, and this is with me as the king, as her husband, putting on a healthy dose of pressure on her to do her duty and carry all the time. She's nowhere near that level. Carrying your arms is a absolute necessity if you are realistic. Not only defending yourself, but defending the life of others. It's absolutely critical. Okay? Even when I come out at night to check the doors, I will put on my pistol. At least, very least. Because what if I'm walking out here and some guy is running across here, this deck, and he starts shooting at me or whatever. Not even that. He's running across there and I have to stop him. You don't want to be caught by surprise with some wacko in your door. With some wacko in your kitchen. Like even Andy. Andy, he was in the military 5 years. He has no consciousness of having a gun on him. Absolute zero. 0. I'm trying to beat on his head all the time too. This guy he's been a military man for 5 freaking years. Okay? And the guy won't even lock the damn doors after he's using them. At night, I have to go around locking the doors because all these guys are sleeping. Can you believe this? I have ragged on him many times, you know, many times. But I rag on him, even though I rag on his booty, the doors are unlocked all the time. We even have a rule, okay? If I find the doors unlocked, one of the rules on my side, I have to videotape it. Mm-hmm. If I videotape it that the doors are unlocked at night, everybody in the house has to do 200 push-ups per door.
That's
Is it 200 push-ups or 50 push-ups? I think it's 200 push-ups because I haven't done it in a long time. I think it's 200 push-ups. Now, they used to do that when I was actually diligent in filming it. Nowadays, I'm just coming out and I just do the check myself, okay? But this is how frustrating it is. This is how spoiled these children, these people who live with me, live under the king. They're so spoiled because I'm the one who's defending them. They're very, very spoiled because they don't have to think about it. They don't have to think about security. They don't have to think about the defense of this house all the time. I have to end up thinking about it. Now, is that ideal? No. Ideal is where everybody is thinking about it. Ideal is where everybody has ownership. Now, is that going to happen overnight? No. Look at the king. It doesn't happen in my household overnight. It happens step by step, step by step, step by step. I have to keep on putting healthy pressure on the queen, on Andy, on Emo, on all these fools. On my boys. They're bums too sometimes. Although their consciousness for self-defense is getting more strong. Okay? But this is what happens when you start training not only in empty hands arts, when you start training in weapons, you start realizing, wow, the power weapons, you start realizing, wow. You look at watching a video like that, Paul just Watson, girls need a weapon. Even the girls who are training, who are in the younger girls, like Caleb, I'm sorry, Kaylin or Shimbok, Or who is it?
Christina?
No, it was some of the girls who do homeschooling. So now I'm starting to test them because now Goonie too, my daughter, I make sure she has carrying a knife on her, at least a knife on her. If she doesn't do it, she got 50 push-ups. That's exactly what the boys got. If they didn't carry the knives, which they are now very diligent in carrying. Okay? You learn those skills not so you show off. Obviously, they don't show off. You learn them to defend life. I love what Sensei James Williams said. He said, we train so hard, our perfection in the discipline of the martial arts is for the other. The more perfect our technique is, the more strong our bodies are, the more strong our mentality, the more deadly we are, the more safe the people who stand behind us are. And he was talking about the whole warriors, always historically, who stood between the threat and the vulnerable. Even in Chanilguk, there will be vulnerable people. There are still elementary school students who are not masters in all the arts yet. They're still vulnerable. Right? The adults of Chanilguk need to stand between a threat and those children. What about the handicapped people? They're vulnerable too. The adults of Chanilguk need to stand between a threat and the handicapped people, see? What about senior citizens, for example, who are, have no more motor dexterity? Or who have much more subdued skill, physically. Well, they become vulnerable. You see what I mean? So, Chanilguk citizens must be able to, that's why you train. That's why you practice. Actually, I'm very proud of Tim. Tim was never a firearms carrier, right, in your whole life, right?
And I was not, yes.
You were never a gun carrier. But he went out, he understood his responsibility. He went out and he got training every week. After our international meeting, he would meet with Doug Williams and get training every week. Every week. Every week he would go and train. Until now he's proficient enough to carry his firearm. Okay, Mr. Bird, I heard you.
I'm carrying too. The bird says.
The bird said, I want to carry too. I want to come into Chanilguk. Defend me from the eagle that's kind of getting me. But he got his training, see? But getting these girls, and the queen is included in this too. Like, she just came back in. She's also included in this too. Getting these girls to be responsible with their duty, to train and to be higher level, not for themselves, not for their own narcissism, not for their bragging and they can, shoot good pictures and cool pictures. Of course, we love that look, there's nothing bad about shooting some cool picture. We're going to do a photo shoot with Marianne, with the Queen, doing some cool pictures. Okay? Because she knows she's almost like a sacrifice. She realizes she's like a sacrificial sacrifice. She's like a physical manifestation of what a woman can do in terms of pushing through things that they're scared of. Because everybody knows she was a total wimp and she was just an artiste, which makes her even a bigger wimp. And in a wimpier community. But now she can do things which make her strong. Now, she knows she shouldn't be deluded because she's strong relative to other girls, but not relative to men, especially men who are trained. she's very weak. She'll be very quickly dominated. Not even a joke, she'll be destroyed. That is why it is her duty, not only to her husband, not only to her king, not only to the nation, to God to protect herself. To have the means by which she can protect herself. And the only way she can do that physically as a woman, 110 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever, between that, at her level of skill, which is still beginner, the only way she can do that is by having a weapon. The more dangerous and deadly she is, the more she then protects life. See, that should tie into a woman's instinct to protect life. Because naturally they have an instinct to protect children. But the problem is they don't have an instinct to protect other adults. They don't. Because they usually, they hide and cover the children. And meanwhile, the men have to go and defend the children, and the girls. And of course, good Christian men have no problem doing that, but they have a problem when you have a dominant demonic culture that's constantly berating them for being masculine and being able to defend their wife and children. Now, a true man doesn't stop there, but wants to empower his wife. Not by, of course, coercion. You ask the queen, I don't coerce her. I prod her gently with pressure. Just like a good master. I really spoil the kids, actually. I'm too damn nice. Some of my instructors were so freaking mean. And they were violent. They would put you in your place really fast. And they would hit you. In Japan, boy, those masters can really... You see some of those guys training, like in karate? They get beat with a stick. I mean, literally with a stick, till they're bleeding. I saw some guys, they're training, the teacher is literally beating them with a wooden stick, and they're bleeding. And still trying to do karate. But a true man in Chaniguk always tries to empower his women, especially the women in his life. If you really love the women in your life, you must try to empower them. You must try to make them, because they're wimps right now. But you must try to get them to a point where they become dangerous to predators, dangerous to enemies, dangerous to people who want to do evil and harm. And of course, everybody in Chaniguk and in the kingdom and sanctuary is proud of our queen because she's doing that. She's stepping up, unlocking her epigenetics. She's scared of doing this stuff, but she's stepping up. Even last night, she was training on her own with a man dummy there. She had her cute little Under Armour tights on and had her little sports bra on and training with that man dummy. She hasn't heard me yet. She's got her earphones on. She doesn't know what I'm saying. She'll hear it in 20 seconds. Then she'll turn to me.
I'm just so focused on that.
And they're training, okay? Trying to train for her moves because she knows today she has to train and she has to fight with the girls. So last night, she's already starting to train and getting frustrated. Stressed. Good stress because of that. Now, that's good for a Monday ritual. The problem with her, because she's still a beginner, is that she doesn't have that mentality Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You see that? She doesn't have that mentality. She only has that mentality when she has to encounter resistance, which is planned, and she knows the time where she will encounter it. She still is not at that level of consciousness where she doesn't realize this can happen at any time. I have to be ready all the time. She's not there yet. You see that? She's not there. Look at it, she's smiling. Look at her, she's smiling. Over there.
Okay, one step at a time. One step
You see
at a
that?
time. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay. But that's the very thing. So look. Her daddy, I encourage her very slowly, very skillfully. And by encouraging her, by getting her cute little holsters and stuff like that, we've gone through now a whole bunch of holsters for her. Okay? A whole bunch. This one was cute, that one was cute. Still, she does not do her duty of carrying every day as someone who already has a license, who's trained, and who knows how to handle that firearm. Now, I do admit she's getting better with the knife. She was lazy. She was lazy with the blade too. But now she's getting more disciplined with the blade. Do you have at least a blade on you now, Amma? I don't think so, because she thinks she's in the seat. There's a problem. She thinks she's in the house. Let me test her right now. Do you have your knife on you now? You see that? You see that? Because she thinks she's in the house, right? She thinks it's a safe environment, which it is relatively, obviously. But again, you never know. I heard James Yeager, he was talking about this. He's a former policeman and also trains everybody in gunfighting. We may go train with them, our community, tactical response down there in Tennessee. And he was saying, look, do your effing duty. He loves cursing at the camp. Do your effing duty. If you're going to carry your arms in the house. It's like your pants. If you wear your belt, if you wear your pants, if it's someplace where you can't just walk out naked, you have to put on your gun. Oh, but I'm around the house. You idiot. If you're not able to grab it, it's out of hand's reach. You're disarmed. Oh, but I'm just going to the garden. Well, what if you have an incident in the garden? You see, people are not thinking like that. Even when I go out to check the fish yesterday, even when I go out to the small little garden and create those things, I have at least a 380 on me. Sometimes I'll bring my whole rifle out.
It does require developing a mindset.
You see what I'm saying? It's a consciousness.
Yes.
Right? You may carry outside when you come in the house, but what about when you're in the house? Do you carry?
I do.
Okay, you do it now, so okay, that's good.
I've been carrying for about 6 months now, and it's taken me some time.
Here, get on Tim, everybody, so you can see him. Go ahead,
taken
Tim.
me some
Explain.
time.
Give us your testimony, your Chaniguk testimony of bearing arms.
So I used to, I would leave the house and I would forget my gun, for example. I would leave the gun at home, and I would be driving along about 5 or 10 miles from home, and I would realize, oh, I don't have my gun. But now I've finally gotten to the point where it's very rare that I forget it. Almost never now I forget it. Now also
That's right.
carry in the house.
And you carry in the house. That's great.
Where
Wonderful.
Carrying means that I have it, within arm's reach.
Okay.
And one thing that really helped me was that I went on YouTube and found a video of someone taking apart the particular gun that I'm using, that I'm carrying, and showed how it's designed. And I could see from that it's actually designed very safely, so that it's not going to discharge unless someone pulls the trigger. And also,
Yes.
I have a holster that as long as the gun is in the holster, the trigger cannot be pulled. So that really gave me assurance that it's safe to carry. And so that was one big thing for me.
Now, you are also struggling with the same thing as well, because I remember you playing around with your wife last week she's saying, oh, our gun. And you were saying, no, this is my gun. This is my gun. You have to get your gun. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, share a little about your testimony with trying to encourage no success with your wife.
Well, first, her attitude
ahead.
was, God is going to protect me. I have a special deal with God. No one is going to hurt me.
Yeah. Well, Satan. He should have a deal with Satan.
But, at least this is what she expressed, that that God is going to look out for me, so I don't need anything. But now,
But God may allow you to learn a lesson.
yes. So
Because some of these women are so, not your wife, but some of these women are so stupid and just not conscious that they need to see the reality until they realize, oh my God, this is so sad. This is so sad. For real fathers who see this, it's so angering when I see this. It makes me so angry that a girl has to get hurt before she actually takes it seriously.
so finally now,
I hate that about girls. I hate it.
finally
They're
now,
so lazy and they're so deluded. And they have to wait until they get hurt to actually do it, do something about defense. They're so stupid. Oh, it gets me so angry sometimes. But of course, women who are in a proper environment, they're not going to be as dumb. But I'm talking about the normal girl is so unbelievably dumbed down. It's absurd. Because you'll never meet a woman like that who's out living in the Amazon jungle.
Mm-hmm.
She also is going to be carrying some defense when she's walking through the jungle.
absolutely, yes.
Because they learn if you don't, you get eaten by a mountain lion. Go ahead, Tim. But what about Nosa someone?
So now she's ready to get her license. Unfortunately, we're having some problems with documentation.
Okay.
Some documents that we need she doesn't have right now. But I think she'll be getting an AR or a shotgun at least.
Woo!
to
Wow, that's
have
great.
around the house.
That's
even
fantastic.
if she can't carry outside the house, so we'll have something in the house for her.
20 shotgun maybe is good. That's good. That's fantastic. Also, Greg Knoll, who was a gentle man, giant, he also testified for many years they were leaning more towards New Age and stuff like that, getting sucked into the cult of the dominant liberal progressive leftist lunatic culture. And he could never see himself as carrying a gun. I don't know if he said that, but anyways, potentially. But now he's very diligent. Or I would say more diligent. I would say you're more diligent than him. But he's transforming and he's putting in the time and the energy and the consciousness to practice. Now, is his wife? I don't think so. And we love Elka, of course. She knows we love her. Elka, we know you love me. But for example, always the girls are slower. They're always slower when it comes to, even though they're the most vulnerable. See, this is the problem. They're the most vulnerable because men will predate on them more than they'll predate on a stronger man. Yet the women are still so slow in understanding there's a threat on them that's greater than on what's on a man. You see, it's a paradox, isn't it? It's a paradox. Of course, I know the queen is, as she does her responsibility and she becomes that role model and actually basks in that role model. And I think she's really going to enjoy her cherry blossom holster, which will be super cute, and we'll show it to everybody and how super cute it is. That she may be able to develop a whole new genre of fashion, style, and coolness around a woman who is conscious of self-defense, not only for her own self, but for others as well. People understand when you carry properly and you're mature in carrying, you're not doing this for yourself. Why would you carry around 2 pounds of steel for yourself all the freaking time? We do this because we're trying to defend you bums. We carry around 2 pounds of extra steel on our freaking body and, have to lug around 2 pounds of extra steel everywhere we go because we may have to defend somebody's life. It's like that grandpa who defended the restaurant goers and that crazed man who shot the CEO in the face. But then the grandpa came out and shot that other guy from the back or whatever from the side, and he killed that guy. But that guy could have potentially just sprayed innocent people eating burritos at a Mexican restaurant. When will you girls wake the hell up? Wake up! Don't be dumb bums. Do your responsibility, because who knows, you may be the only one that can save somebody, do God's will and protect innocent people. What if you're in a Mexican restaurant hanging out with your girlfriends, having a cute little girl party, and an insano comes and sprays people just like he did last week? The top news on Drudge is terror bomb in Manchester. Ariana Grande, who's a slutty girl, and all these idiot fools going out to the concert. There was a bomb that went off. 22 are dead. How many hundreds injured? It's a nail bomb, which is a bomb that's filled with screws and nuts and bolts and nails. And so when it blows up, it shoots nails everywhere in every direction. 22 are dead. Now, this is a suicide bomber, so he's just blown himself up, yes. You're going to ask, what would a gun have done in that scenario? Well, for example, in this scenario, we don't know. We don't know what the scenario is exactly. There's not enough. The police have not released if anybody had even seen him. We don't know. We don't have enough information. The point is, even in the Western world now, it's becoming more and more dangerous, even going out shopping, to a shopping mall, to a stupid concert, a pop concert. Being armed is your duty of a responsible person. Especially in Chaniguk, where you are sovereign, you have sovereignty, your freedom, and it has a responsibility. Because you are also sovereign there, and you're in the Christian ethic where you're supposed to love God and love your neighbor. You're supposed to love God who gave you these freedoms and gave you these rights and responsibilities. But at the same time, you're supposed to be able to defend your neighbor. And it's like I'm always harping on this every day. But again, people don't take it seriously until they're victimized, until they're hurt. And girls, you know you're more guilty than this. Don't wait until your daughter is hurt. Don't wait until you are hurt. Don't wait until your grandma's hurt and some thug is trying to force themselves on you. You be prepared to defend life. Wow, that's a very important consciousness, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Even with babies. I mean, look at the women who are killing their babies. They're not defending life.
No, they're not.
Right? That consciousness rides out. Our Rima today, boy, we've been going a long Rima, haven't we?
Almost 2 hours.
Oh, goodness. Goodness. We've been going a long Rima today. But our Rima today is reaping the harvest when the Lord returns. Reaping the harvest. The blood lineage. The great sickle. You know what the sickle reminds me? It reminds me of a samurai sword, because samurai sword is a curved blade. Okay? But reaping, the queen is saying, hurry up, take a break now. She didn't think I'd say that. She didn't think I'd cover for a booty saying that. Look at her. She's saying, time out. We got to use the restroom, even though she went 2 times. One time. But everybody in Chaniguk, I want you all to put heavy pressure on the queen.
and our own queens.
And your own queens, but give pressure to the queen of Chaniguk. Give her good pressure. Say, queen, are you doing your duty today? Check on her. In the morning when you're writing in, say, is the queen doing her duty as the king commanded yesterday?
One step at a time.
You know what I found? Social pressure works phenomenally on women. It's absolutely the best way to transform women's behavioral patterns. I've been telling the queen for 20 years that she gotta learn martial art better. This is all private because I spoil her. I don't embarrass her in public. She never did it. Never. She's got a martial arts master as her husband that she's making love to, and she don't even learn any of those skills. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm teaching the kids. Okay? And now all the kids are coming. Okay? Now she has a social pressure of, and then the Han mother has failed. And now all eyes are watching her and say, oh, you better not fail like Han mother. You better not become a narcissist. You better not become this terrible, harlot of Babylon and not bow to the third king and try to steal it like the Han mother. We will curse you. We will curse you. This was amazing, excellent pressure on her. Because some of the men in our community told her that. We will curse you. And that's their job, it's their responsibility to destroy her if she does that. You must destroy her if she does that. And she knows that. See, she's going to be held accountable as a girl. She's not going to be let off the hook for being evil while pretending to be good. No, if you're evil, we're going to call you out as evil even though you're a girl. Like the Han mother. So she saw that. She also said, oh crap, there's a social consequence of this. And then because of that healthy pressure, she started thinking, yes, I really have to step into this even though I don't like it. I'm going to do it. Now, she could have sat on the sidelines and said, oh, it's so good. Okay, I'll watch from the sides. Okay, I'll root you. But then think about it. Then all these girls would be wimps just like they would see her example, okay, of doing that. And they would also say, oh, okay, maybe it's a little scary. You're beating each other up and it doesn't feel so good. All this kind of stuff. And they would all start fading. They would all start being freaked out and scared about it because she's not setting the example as the mother, as the true mother. But because of that social pressure and because the men in the community say, we're going to hold you accountable. Your life is not only your life. You have responsibility to all of us because you were chosen to be the queen of Cheongguk by the King of Kings. So you better do your job. And we will hold you accountable. And if you don't do it, and you try to usurp the power, just like the Han mother, and you start doing what she did, and you don't bow to the third king, we will disown you. Don't think you're precious to us just because you're a woman. We will go after you. But this is actually a very important culture of warrior. Girls don't realize it, but this is a culture that men live in all the time if they deal with honorable men. If you act dishonorably and you don't repent and try to get back to good standing, they will come after you. You'll be held accountable for your evil. Girls don't get it. They're living in a bubble, protected. Now, once they started putting that pressure on her, she said, holy crap. Oh my gosh. I better take this seriously. I better not get lulled into a sleep like Han mother and start getting into my own little world. I better do the things that will protect me from that. Not only from people cursing, not only people, but people that healthy fear of being honorable. And the consequence of being dishonorable is such an important, healthy pressure. What is it in Asia? They say, rice cannot be cooked without pressure. Which is true, right? It's true. But think about it. As a girl, she never felt that pressure. Once she felt that pressure, she felt, oh crap, now I got to do it. Now she's starting to enjoy empty hands arts and jiu-jitsu. Now she, for the first time, she ordered, oh no, I'm not sorry, she didn't, the kids ordered their samurai swords. Imo ordered samurai sword, real blades. I told them, get real blades. I'm going to make them train with real blades, because if they're not serious, they're going to cut their freaking hand off. But that's not, I don't care. I train with real blade. I can cut my hand off. So what? Don't bitch to me about that. I do it every freaking day. You're not special. What do you think? What do you think? You're not. You have to be in that dangerous realm to be able to know that actions have consequences. Now, so I can see she's starting to, as the kids are stepping into their responsibility faster than her, she feels the pressure to, oh crap, catch up to the kids. You see what I'm saying? And that's a healthy pressure. What is the point? The point is God is creating the culture of Chaniguk, and he's making the queen of Chaniguk, giving her that community that's around her that holds her accountable, but also inspiring within her own spirit not to be a shallow woman who's only doing this to escape the criticism of the sanctuary brothers and sisters under Father's authority. Of course, there should always be that healthy fear of that, but it's not only that anymore, I can see. It's slowly becoming something that she's starting to realize, oh, this has to be part of my life, or my identity, as someone who's now becoming a warrior for Christ. Somebody who's putting on the armor of God. Somebody who's learning to have dominion over creation and dominion over all things by having dominion over force. So she's light years ahead of most of the girls in our community and the women in our community. But again, she needs to go more levels. Chaniguk and the nation of Chaniguk. The price of not doing your responsibility and being accountable is that you will give it over to somebody else. And when you give it over to somebody else, you've already disowned God. You've already disowned your life. You've already given it away, and you've already stepped into the realm of political Satanism. You're now becoming a Satanist. As soon as you give that responsibility away and say somebody else should do it for me, somebody should defend my life for me, who said? You have that responsibility first. You can't be a spoiled little brat thinking other people are going to always step in for you. You have to take that responsibility. When you give that most precious responsibility, which is really the third blessing, to have dominion of creation, when you give that away, I don't care who it is, you're giving it away to the archangel in the end. And you girls know you are more susceptible in giving that away. Even these feminists, they say, I'm going to go, what was that, Moldy Locks, right? She goes, I'm going to get 20 Trump scalps today. I'm going to go kill some Trumpers. She goes there and gets punched in the face. She goes, I'm a woman. They attacked a woman. She plays the victim card as soon as she gets beat up. Even though she was the one threatening violence. Then all of a sudden she's the victim. I'm no longer a feminist. I play the victim card. He's misandrous. It's a patriarchy. Well, I thought you were going to go kill some men to show how badass you are. You better expect to be killed. You see what I'm saying? It's total bull. As soon as you give away your right and duty, responsibility to defend life, yours included, you are stepping on the path to become a Satanist. You're not defending God's creation. You're not defending the apex, which is humanity. You're not defending your own life. And don't try to be on some kind of religious power trip trying to think that that's sacrificial. You showing the way of defending your life and kingly rights is a sign, and it is example to the next generation, learning the value of protecting the kingdom of God. So all the sanctuaries who are joining us for Hundoke, always in the morning, diligently, I want you to do that homework, okay? All you guys out there in Hundoke land, joining the Second King Virtue Hundoke. When we come from Hundoke, make sure you write a beautiful message to the Queen, asking her, are you doing your responsibility today, Queen? Give her that healthy pressure. You will help her in her journey of becoming a true woman and a true mother for all humanity.
Aren't you?
You will be aiding her even though she may feel that's pressure on her. No, I know her. She loves you. She'll be grateful. In the end, she will be grateful that all of you are standing to increase her, to make her a greater woman, a greater protector of the kingdom of God, which not only I inherit, but which all of you must inherit as well. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us on this King's Report. Hundoke!
Little hands, shoeless feet, lonely eyes looking back at me. Will we leave behind the innocent to grieve? On their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these. When we love the least of these. Break our hearts once again. Help us to remember when we were only children hoping for a friend. Won't you look around? These are the lives that the world has forgotten, waiting for doors of our hearts and our homes to open. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. on their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these, when we love the least of these. Break our hearts once again. Help us to remember when we were only children hoping for a friend. Won't you look around? These are the lives that the world has forgotten, waiting for doors of our hearts and our homes to open. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these, when we love the least of these. If not us, who will be like Jesus to the least of these? If not us, tell me who will be like Jesus to the least of these. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. Top news on Drudge and everywhere is at least 22 are dead. 50 are injured in a suicide bomb attack at Manchester Arena. Of course, it was probably an Islamic radical terrorist suicide bomb attack at Manchester Arena. But of course, the British press will never tell us those kind of details. Only that the guy's name is probably something that starts with Mohammed. Greater Manchester Police have confirmed children amongst the victims of the attack carried out by a man with an explosive device. Let's take a look at this video and how the attack unfolded. Whoa, look at those people, kids jumping off. There you go.
No.
Oh my god. What's going on?
Wow, that was an explosion.
What's going on?
They said that there was blood everywhere, and there were nails and screws strewn on the floor. And the guy basically exploded himself.
So, for all those nails and screws, I guess there was no metal detector. For
It's
people
shrapnel.
going in.
Yeah. It's pathetic in terms of their security. And of course, what happens after that happens, armed police come. See, there's a value in being armed. If you have armed guards around your venue, then a terror suicide bomber is going to think twice in running up to it and blowing it up. But since Britain is the land of totalitarians, and normal citizens are just slaves and they cannot own and bear arms.
Even most police cannot.
Even their security, who are surrounding the place, could not even bear arms.
Right.
So give me a break for these kind of suicide bombers. You're giving them a platform and a place like filet mignon to go and wreak havoc and the most damage and death possible.
Yes.
Just like Trump said in Saudi Arabia, these terrorists don't worship God, they worship death. At least 22 people, including children, have been killed and 59 injured in a suicide bombing at a crowded pop concert in Manchester. The most deadly attack in Britain in a decade and more will continue. The horror unfolded at about 10:30 p.m. on Monday at the end of a concert by the American singer Ariana Grande, whose popular music is popular with children and teenagers. The attack, which took place in the foyer area of the arena, left hundreds of people fleeing in terror, with young people at the concert separated from their parents in the chaos. It left carnage inside the concert venue, with medics describing treating wounds consistent with shrapnel injury. One witness said he could see nuts and bolts strewn on the floor of the foyer after the attack, which could suggest a nail bomb was involved. I guess a nail bomb is something that uses like regular shrapnel inside. Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May said, "We are working to establish the full details of what is being treated by the police as an appalling terrorist attack. All our thoughts are with the victims and families." Of course, Theresa May being the one who wanted to stay in the EU and allow for more radical Muslim migrants to pour into the country. This is the same woman who now changed her tune because Britain voted for the Brexit. A total globalist, a total political Satanist. The PM will chair an emergency meeting in the government's crisis committee, COBRA, at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And of course, she will come out, as she did last time when there was an attack on the parliamentary building. That was just about a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, about a month ago. So
She came in after saying that that's not Islamic terrorism. That's Islamist terrorism. This is what she said. She said this is not Islamic terrorism. Islamist. These are Islamists. What? I mean, this is the lunacy by which these politicians continue to be apologists for radical Saudi-backed Wahhabi, dangerous Orthodox Islam, which is not the same as Christianity.
can I give President
Go
Trump
ahead,
a
Tim.
reaction on this?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, let's get President
Trump on
Trump.
Tuesday, standing behind Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Bethlehem, so he was with Abbas when he spoke, lashed out at the suicide bomber behind a deadly attack in Manchester hours earlier. He says that he offered his condolences to the victims and declared that those who attack the innocents are evil losers in life. So many young people, young, beautiful, innocent people living and enjoying their lives, murdered by evil losers in life, Trump said. I will call them attackers monsters because they would like, I won't call them monsters because they would like that term. They would like that it's a great name. I will call them from now on losers because that's what they are. They're losers. The terrorists and extremists and those who give them aid and comfort must be driven out from our society forever, Trump said. This wicked ideology must be obliterated.
That's beautiful. That's true. They are losers. They like the word being called monsters. Like, yeah, I'm powerful. I created fear. I made them scared. You know. They're losers. They're pathetic, limp-wristed losers. The Home Secretary, Amber Rudd, paid tribute to the emergency services, saying this was a barbaric attack deliberately targeting some of the most vulnerable in our society, young people and children at a pop concert. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family and victims who have been affected. Greater Manchester Police have confirmed that they believe the bombing was the responsibility of one man armed with an improvised explosive device. The man is among the dead. Chief Constable Ian Hopkins. We have been treating this as a terrorist incident, and we believe that while the attack last night was conducted by one man, the priority is to establish whether he was acting alone or a part of a network. The attacker, I can confirm, died at the arena. We believe the attacker was carrying an improvised explosive device, which he detonated, causing this atrocity. The investigation into the attack involves the police counterterrorism network and Britain's Domestic Security Service, MI15. See? You give all that power to centralized police. You give all that power to the CIA. You give all that power to the police counterterrorism network and all their millions of staff that they have, spending millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds that they steal from the taxpayer, and they can never stop the terrorist attacks.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Why? Because those guys can go so low tech and go around it. But of course, they're going to use this as a greater example of why they must centralize power even more, and why they must stay in the EU, and why they must rely on an international solution, and why they must link up with greater governments and increase federal power and increase more people, and we need to hire more for the counterterrorism network. We need to hire more for our new Department of Homeland Security. Always, 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 always the exploitation of such attacks for more centralized power and saying, student, look at you scared children. This is why you need the archangel as your daddy, you understand? No, don't think about arming the people themselves. Don't think about allowing even security guards to have arms and protect these places with M16s and AR-15s. Don't think about that. Don't think about that. No, we have to increase the federal bureaucracy size. We have to increase the amount of staff we have. We have to increase the amount of secretaries each one person has. We have to increase the amount of researchers and investigators. We have to increase the amount of this and that. And meanwhile, you're leaving them totally vulnerable again. It's always the same ridiculous tune. I get sick of this covering this every day, Tim, as probably people could tell. I get so mind drained and spirit drained covering this. It's like the same pattern over and over and over, and people have to hear it over and over and over. It's like so brain dead. It's so sad. It's tragic. The death toll would make it the worst event of its kind in Britain since the 7/7 bombing in 2005, which hit London's transport network, killing 52 people. Go ahead, Tim.
So there are also people who are saying this should stop any argument against President Trump's immigration executive order. The American Center for Law and Justice Chief Counsel Jay Sekulow said there's no reason not to support President Trump's immigration executive order after the Manchester attack.
Well, this will only increase because you know what they say? You know what they say? Well, you know what the problem is? The problem is that Trump and everybody is fear-mongering, and we're making these jihadis feel very marginalized, and we're pushing them way to the fringes of society where they have no choice but to join ISIS, which ISIS, by the way, is celebrating this. That's how the news on Drudge.
Yes.
ISIS is celebrating. And the left does what? Blames conservatives and people with common sense, saying it's you people who've been criticizing these radical jihadis that are making them feel bad and marginalized, so that's why they feel pushed to have no choice but to join ISIS and counter these, to do these things more.
And go into a rock concert with a nail bomb? I don't think so.
Yes, if we only treated them nicely and praised them. If we only said, oh, no, good ISIS, we love you, please come in. Oh, we surrender to you. We love your culture, we think it's beautiful. The hijab is the same thing as Western free Christian ethics, and it's the same way we totally accept you. Please pour on in. We'll be very nice to you. And they think that's going to stop them. They don't realize those demons are going to be laughing at them. This is a joke. This is how destroyed their amygdala function is. I'm at a point where I really believe that these politicians, of course, they're engineering it. They know deliberately what they're doing. They're banking on the totally degenerated nature of people's normal amygdala function, which is able to sense danger. They're banking on people's ignorance, and they are purposefully leading people to believe that if they're nice to ISIS, ISIS will be nice to them. Why? Because they want the chaos. They want the destruction. They want their country to be in utter shambles. Why? Because that's when people will beg them to help them and save them. And they will, quote, need the government and the bureaucracy and the politicians more. They'll be saying, oh, Mr. Politician, please save us. We don't know what to do. They'll become even more weak and dependent. They'll never think of, hey, wait a minute, maybe these stupid politicians and all their promises and all their stupid departments can't stop all this crap. Hey, maybe we should take this into our own hands as citizens. Maybe we should throw off these idiots. Maybe we should throw off this totalitarian regime. Maybe we should start bearing arms. Hey, maybe when these terrorists come, let's give them a taste of their own medicine. No, you can't think about that. You can't think about arming the citizens or arming and empowering the people. You have to grow the state, grow more government bureaucrats, more government staff, more government officials, more government police, more government law enforcement, more government departments, more government bureaus. Endless behavioral patterns. Same over and 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 over again. How many times do you need to be raped to realize that, oh crap, maybe I need to defend myself? How many times do you need to be bullied, if you're a young boy, to realize, oh my gosh, I have to learn how to defend myself? That's why I started the combat martial arts, the real martial arts, because we were being beaten with a stick by our brother-in-law for getting a lower than a B+. I said, screw this. I'm not going to let you beat my ass anymore. And if you touch me, you will get hurt.
And he stopped.
And it stopped. Well, my sister was in on it too. She's the one who made them do it. Just nut. And of course, look what happened to them. Completely sellouts. Very sad. But that's what happened with totalitarians. They are control freaks. They are psychopaths. They never want the people to understand they have to be responsible. They have to take control. You can't rely on the archangel bureaucracy to take control for you. The death toll now the worst of its kind in Britain since 2005. Witnesses in Manchester described how after the concert had finished, the house lights came up and then a loud bang was heard. Majid Khan, 22, said a huge bomb-like bang went up that hugely panicked everyone, and we were all trying to get to flee the arena. It was one bang, and essentially everyone from the other side of the arena where the bang was heard from suddenly came running towards us as they were trying to exit. Oliver Jones, 17, who attended with his 19-year-old sister, said the bang echoed around the foyer of the arena and people started to run. People outside the concert were visibly upset at a cacophony of sirens, as a cacophony of sirens were heard and police and ambulance vehicles arrived at the scene. Aaron McDougall, 20 years old, from Newcastle, said there was a loud bang at the end of the concert. The lights were already on, so we knew it wasn't part of the show. At first, we thought it was a bomb. There was lots of smoke. People started running out. When we got outside the arena, there were dozens of police vans and quite a few ambulances. A group of young men from Sheffield said they had seen at least 5 people covered in blood and others been carried out by bouncers. Ariana Grande had just gone behind the curtain and the lights came up when there was this massive bang and big cloud of smoke. I saw 5 people with blood all down them, said one. Sophie Ted, 25, from Darlington, said everyone started screaming and we nearly got trampled on. There was a burning smell. A woman with her husband and 3 young children said there was a loud bang as the concert ended. She said, I just freaked. Everyone started screaming. We did not see any explosion, but it smelled bad like burning. Charlotte Campbell said she last heard from her 15-year-old daughter, Olivia, at 8:30 p.m. on Monday, shortly before Grande went on stage and was frantically trying to find her. Her dad is actually in Manchester looking for her, she told BBC Radio 4 Today program. I've got friends out there looking for her. I've got people I don't even know out looking for her. I've got people messaging me saying, look, we've got her photo and we're out going looking for her. We'll get in contact with you if we see her. I'm just hearing nothing. Her phone's dead. I guess that is her daughter. We have still not found Olivia Campbell. If you see her, please contact me, etc. The attack happened despite years of warnings and tightening of security, especially around crowded places. Investigators will want to find out who carried out the attack and for what reason. They will also investigate where the material for the suspected device was bought and how it was designed. Since the attack on London in 2005, measures have been put in place to restrict the purchase of materials that can be used to make homemade explosives. The Manchester attack came after weeks of heightened activity and disrupted plots by police and MI5. In March, 4 people and the attacker died after an attack on Westminster, central London, which targeted the House of Parliament. The terrorist level threat for Britain is at severe, meaning an attack is highly likely. Security is expected to be reviewed for major venues in Britain and elsewhere. London Mayor Sadiq Khan said there would be more police on the streets of the capital on Tuesday after the barbaric and sickening attack. Will Sadiq Khan, the Muslim mayor of London, come out and denounce radical Islamic terrorism when it comes out that this was radical Islamic terrorism? Will he come out and say radical Islamic terrorism is evil? I doubt it, Tim. I doubt it. In the U.S. Department of Homeland Security warrant of extra security measures, the public may experience increased security in and around public places and events as officials take additional precautions. World leaders express solidarity with the UK in the fight against terrorists. Whenever you give it to the hands of the officials, they always do it more pathetically and more unsystematically. You can give them healthcare and they'll destroy it. You can give them entrepreneurship and businesses, they will destroy them. You can give them markets, they will destroy them. You can give them innovations and creativity, they will destroy it. You can give them anything, give anything to the archangel. It will do it at a lower performance, lower effectivity, at higher cost. When the people do it, it's not only cheaper for the people, it's not only safer, it's better. That's with healthcare, that's with security, that's with protection, that's with innovation, that's with technology, anything. Anything. When you have security companies competing with one another and they can be armed, now you have super high level people in those security companies, like former SWAT team members and former Navy SEALs and former Black Ops specialists. You understand? You will have people that have fought at the highest level who will be private security owners and entrepreneurial businessmen who will create teams that will create greater security than all the federal bureaucracies in the world, because most of these federal bureaucracies in the cities have never been in real combat or real warfare. Do you see what I'm saying? The guys who actually fought in real warfare trumped them 1 billion times. But since they're not in their department and since they don't bow down to their bureaucracy, they don't get promoted. And these little beta male, little line riding prostitutes get promoted. But if you opened it up to the free market, if you allowed security companies to compete with it, each one would be competing. Hey, we got 3 Navy SEALs on our team. Our security team is the best. We've done security detail for this or that president, see? Then this company would advertise, well, we have Green Beret, ex-Green Beret here. We have ex this or that person, special ops. We have this or that individual who trains us. We have that, you see, you would have a competing marketplace where all these real warfighters, real people who actually fight tactically in urban warfare, in desert warfare, in cities and holes everywhere, who actually went into warfare, who know how to stop these fools, destroy them, shut them down, hunt them down. You would be able to, through that competition, have such high level of people who cannot get entry into these bureaucracies because they're already on a list that the government is watching, especially if they're conservative. But if you had to open up and you had security companies that could be armed, and you had all these special ops people, you would have such high level security companies. They would be competing with prices, so they would be competing to giving you lower prices. So you would have lower prices. You wouldn't have to steal from people. They could hire you on an event basis if they felt that their event needed to be protected. It doesn't work with just healthcare. It doesn't work with just free market business, entrepreneurship, and technology, innovation, computers, iPhones. It doesn't only work with that. It works with everything. When you allow people to compete in service and serving a product or service, which requires other people to buy into it and buy it literally, give their money over to it, and create a win-win. When you allow that process to happen, the invisible hand of God creates success for people who truly serve their clientele in a way that is effective and price sensitive to that clientele. If you can beat out your competitors with lower prices and better service, whether that's a diner, whether that's a restaurant, whether that's an iPhone, whether that's a healthcare plan, whether that's security, armed security. Competition is what breeds, that freedom of competition is what breeds better services, higher level people, and lower prices for you. So that you, as a normal person, if you feel your life is threatened, you can hire somebody to protect you at a lower cost and a higher level person. Instead of getting this government official who's not even been a private in the military and has never seen any warfare and has just done some government lessons on a firearm. Wouldn't you rather have a Green Beret? Wouldn't you rather have a Navy SEAL? I would. No, am I lying? No, but they don't want to think about that. They don't want the citizens to think about that. See, that would have to then allow, they would have to allow for at least security companies to then be able to have arms. That would be a direct competition with the federalized police force there, which doesn't get the type of training that actual war combatants get in real war. You can't mimic that unless you are in war. You have a whole population of veterans that went to war who can have tremendous knowledge and tremendous skill in doing security and understanding the enemy. And they're not able to compete with these bureaucrats sitting in offices as police departments or law enforcement agencies. You should let them compete against them, and if they can provide a better service for a lower price, we should be able to choose them, not be forced to choose one type of federalized power. That makes sense? Wouldn't you much rather be defended by wouldn't you be at ease knowing that Navy SEALs are surrounding the auditorium? Or whatever, Green Berets? Guys who actually know warfare and know terrorism and know Islamic radicalism and knows the science and knows the techniques. Wouldn't you rather be surrounded by those guys instead of some kind of computer geeks, CIA intelligence agencies sitting there thinking that they're gods on their little computers, and then sending out the local British SWAT team to go out and protect the place? And they weren't even protecting it. I would much rather have trained military people who are already fought in war, who've seen live fire, live bombs, live gunfire, who face the enemy in a death battle. I'd have them 10 ways out of a million. A million ways out of 10? What does that say? I'd have them every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And if they're able to compete with the federalized security forces, then you'll have all these security companies competing for your business at lower prices. The federal government will never be able to compete. They'll be completely outclassed. Instead, they want the veterans all to be strewn across. They want them to be on psychotropic drugs. They want to be weakened down. They want them to have no ability to start their own businesses related to security and or firearms and or tactics. They want to outlaw all those things. When those things are such a valuable asset for people who've gone and fight and seen war, now they can play professional security, armed security for people who need it and who can hire for it. Because most of them are good, they're sheepdog, they don't want to just go be mercenaries and assassins. But since there's no ability for them to compete in the marketplace for security, they then get hired to be assassins. And tell them, sell the soul of the devil for money. Why would you want that for your veteran population? They have so much to contribute with the knowledge and the security that they can provide at decreasing prices, because they'll have to compete with each other and be viable in the market. But of course, federal government, the Archangel never wants competition. And when atoms start rising up and saying, hey, we can do this better than the archangel. Eve, we can protect you better than the archangels. For a lower price and for more skill. He said, we are currently treating this. Okay, Hopkins urged people to remain vigilant and stay away from the area of the attack so emergency services can continue their work. Well, you better stay out of all of the UK and European cities. Paris tourism is down 80%. That's not because people are stupid. That's because a reality of being terror bombed is there when you go to Paris. There's no more romance in Paris now. There's no more the world trying to get to Paris to drink coffee and ooh la la and go up. They'll go up there. What's the Eiffel Tower? And then make hot, passionate sex, romance and sex with your lover. That's not happening no more in Paris. Of course, usually it's bad sex. It's free sex and it's evil. But you could go there with your wife on a honeymoon and have passionate lovemaking in the atmosphere of romantic France. I mean, that's what people used to do, right? But that is not happening now. All there is bomb making in France. Terrorist making. Protecting the terrorists. And of course, the EU and Theresa May wants to do that too. And I'm sure the police that are under her are frustrated as well. Because although many of them just simply have become bureaucracy men, wanting just their salaries and working for law enforcement for salaries, not all law enforcement is like that. There are really good men and women in law enforcement who see that their bureaucracies have stifled and stuffed and suffocated the real ability for people to defend other people or to be hired to defend other people. Why don't you unlock the good people in law enforcement who want competition because that will only increase their bureau's ability, who want the veterans to be unleashed so they can start businesses that are related to tactical things and protection and security, which they are experts at. That's what they did when they're fighting in war, protecting their troop, protecting the people they're with, protecting and fighting the enemy, engaged in real gunfighting combat, bomb fighting combat, explosive combat, mortars, bombs, etc. They understand warfare and tactics. And now European countries and cities now all over the world are war zones because of Islamic radical terrorism. Why don't they open up for that? No, but Theresa May will go on an apology spree, saying this is not Islamic terrorism. I think we can all fairly say this is not Islamic terrorism. This is Islamist terrorism. This is Islamist. This is a deviation from the beautiful, magnificent religion of Islam. Even though the Prophet married a child and was having sex with like a pedophile, and even though their Prophet was a mass murderer, beheading 800 Jews with his general by himself, killing them, beheading them. Oh, no, don't focus on those historical facts even reported in the Quran and the Hadith and the main commentary of the Muslims reported by David Wood. No, none of that has any bearing on these type of continuous assaults and attacks and bombs and destruction by these radical terrorists. You see how ridiculous they are? There's an inversion of reality. The Liberal Democrat leader Tim Farron said, this is a shocking and horrific attack targeting children and young people who are simply enjoying a concert, and paid tribute to the emergency services. Pay tribute to the emergency services? You're there after people die. What about unlocking the veterans like I've been ranting about? What about all those men who are now forced to just do bushcrafting because they have no outlet for using their real skills that they've gained in combat? And you outlaw every single freaking weapon on the face of this earth in Britain, so they can't own anything. Give me a break. What about that valuable asset of people who have actually fought in war and came back now being completely marginalized and being put on terrorist lists because they have the potential to fight against the government? That's how you treat your veterans? What about letting them become entrepreneurs? What about letting them start their own business with their real skill set, which is tactical, which is real skill set with strategy, which is real skill set, which is understanding the enemy and stopping attacks? Will they have a 100% rate of stopping? No, but they'll have a better rate than the federal government, which is 0. Give me a break. You had all of MI6, all of the incredible load of the federal bureaucracy, all researching terrorists, and all, of course, keeping tabs on them, supposedly, and they couldn't stop one that blew himself up with nuts and bolts. They never can stop him. Because they're going lower and lower tech. Why? Because they understand these bureaucracies don't understand their way of warfare. Whereas people who have been in those combat zones know how these guys fight, know how they think. They fought them, they killed them. They defended their team amongst them. They are the ones with the first-hand knowledge of how this enemy operates. And they have all their little bureaucracies on computers, pretending in the movies that they're working so hard and diligently. Meanwhile, a huge proportion are watching porn on the website, jacking off in their office. Give me a break! On government money. Did you know that the FBI was the largest peddler of child pornography? The FBI! I'm gonna knock this off. Look at this. I almost got that off. You can't put that here. You gotta put that right here. I was gonna knock that off. I mean, this is insane. Give power back to the citizens. They do a better job always at lower prices. They have the skill set. Not the federal bureaucracies that do well on tests and SAT scores. People who do it in the real world. They have the real skills. Not some Harvard stupid Ivy League British Oxford degree with high LSAT scores. That's not the real skill building reality. You want people who are in combat, in war, to do your security against terrorists. Oh, isn't it interesting also? When they ever hire a veteran, he has to be a SLED veteran. He has to be a veteran that completely surrenders to the power of the Archangel. Not a veteran who is critical of government, of centralized power, of archangelic power. Always going to be bowed down to the Archangel first, and then we'll hire you and promote you as a hero. What about the 90% of real veterans who know that the federal bureaucracy creates these wars, sends them to die, and they have to fight useless wars because oil bankers and bankers want to make more money on trading on their stocks after they imploded a country? What about those veterans who know the real story? No, we can't hire those, right? Can't hire those to the federal government. Why? Because they would destroy the narrative. They have the real skills, they have the real talent, and they're politically awake, and they're not Satanists. And they actually want people to be free and be protected. But a den of wolves never accepts the sheepdog because the den of wolves is threatened by the sheepdog. Goodness, I look like a Brit today with my suit on today, but I'm angry at the Brits.
Some Brits are angry too, I imagine.
They're pathetic. They become little jellyfish, little troglodyte, little tadpole, slimy little worms that can't even stand up for their country. Listen to these filthy, slimy Vaseline lubricated politicians. It is sickening that they would give yourselves to be under these slimy demons. We give heartfelt thanks to our emergency service for the response to the council staff. The Metro Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, said, "My heart goes out to the families who have lost loved ones and my admiration to our..." That's all they can say. All they can say, our heart goes out to you. We didn't try to protect you. You don't have any systems or free market where you're able to hire people who actually can protect you. But we're sorry after they're all dead. We just want to praise our emergency services. Okay, fine. Our emergency services did their job. But that's after everybody's dead. Oh, we're so happy that our emergency service came after you drove your car off a cliff and you had a huge car accident. We're so happy. What about you? Are you happy? You happy you dead? What about giving the freedom to companies that host Ariana Grande or any star that has potential to gather lots of people in one place who want security for that place? Allow them to hire a security company with trained Green Beret and trained Navy SEALs and trained MI6 people who fought in combat and know the enemy of radical terrorism, and allow those people to be armed and to be able to protect that place. How come that's not allowed? How come always after the death, then the cops have to come with their guns, which only they can have. And everybody, all the politicians come out saying, we're sorry for those. We're sorry, everybody, that you died. But we're really grateful for our federal agents and bureaucracy for coming after all of you died. Does this make any sense? When will you be sick of hearing these ridiculous excuses? The Manchester Arena has 21,000 capacity and is one of the largest music venues in Europe. The ambulance service covering Manchester, which is dealing with a significant toll of wounded people, asked people to contact them only if they are in a life-threatening situation because of the large number of resources at the incident. So sad. So sad. So sad. That all of these have to die and just end this more. End this more. We'll continue on the Archangel realm. Only Chaniagul will stop this. Only Chaniagul will stop this. Because all our warriors who actually go out and fight in combat, they will be able to come back and contribute again. Any demon tries to do this. Oh, you may succeed once, you may succeed twice, but you will not continue to succeed like you continue to do in these pathetic European states, which Hillary Rodham Clinton and the Obamas tried to make the United States into disarming us under the UN Security Council. Imploding our sovereignty with NAFTA and TPP, which Donald Trump has now reversed and destroyed. Retaining our sovereignty so we American citizens can still bear arms. How much happier and safer do you feel when you go to a movie theater knowing that at least some of those men and possibly women are armed and there, just in case some crazy jihadi tries to come in or some nutbag tries to blow it up or brings in a machine gun and tries to kill everybody. You see how bad they are once you start shooting back. All of a sudden their aim is off, isn't it? When somebody's shooting back at you. And in that scenario, I'm grateful. I see some, when I go, if I take my kids to a movie, which is not often, last time I went with the church. But when we go to movies, I'm so happy. I see some old grandpas there with like a veteran's hat. I know that guy is armed, probably. I'm happy. I'm happy to see a man sitting there, right? And I know the people in our community will be armed. So somebody trying to do that in that movie theater, not going to succeed. You're not going to be able to fight well trying to shoot, spray people when you got 15 different angles hitting you. You'll be down first. You won't be able to go free reign and massacre everybody. You will be destroyed. Such a sad situation. Now, we see this kind of attack. Oh, and even if it comes out to be Islamic, right? All the apologists go, oh, but you Christians, you have in your Old Testament, you say your Bible is the Word of God, but you have in your Old Testament all this killing. They killed the Canaanites, and they killed all this.
And they say they know who it is, but they won't tell us. British Prime Minister Theresa May said that investigators from the UK probing Monday's attack upon Christmas believe they know the identity of the suspect, but will not release the name until further confirmation.
Okay, yes. Gee whiz. Gee whiz. What would his name be? Could it be an Arabian name?
If it weren't, I think we would know by now.
If it was Tim Elder, or if it was like John Doe, you would know the second it came out.
Yes.
White man has blown up this, a white Christian radical terrorist. Because they don't do that. Yes. They don't do suicide bombs. And of course, since the left has become totally exposed in the fact that Christians don't do that, you'll probably have a crazy leftist who is a white guy who actually then pretends to be a Christian and then blows something up and says, it's a Christian, just to support their narrative. You may have that insano do that. But in further research on that person, you'll probably realize that that person is anti-Christian, he's hateful of Christianity, and he's going to just do it just to spite Christians. Because he knows that Christians don't do that stuff. Oh, there's a whole lecture series by Paul Copan, Dr. Paul Copan, who is another apologetic master for Christianity. He specializes on the field of the Old Testament God. Okay? Now, what his critics say is that you are defending genocide by your Old Testament God. Old Testament Bible says that God commanded the Israelites to just murder people. So you are apologists for genocide. What does Dr. Paul Copan say to that? Well, first of all, he says, well, I would ask you, what do you mean by genocide? If you normally mean by genocide, the normal meaning by genocide is murdering a class of people or a group of people based on ethnicity. Then the God of the Bible did not do such a thing. In fact, when the Bible says that God ordered the Canaanites to be killed, our dog just barfed in the corner, by the way. Somebody's been feeding her naughty stuff because she's such a cutie and she goes around trying to steal food from people. When God ordered the Israelites to destroy Canaan and to wipe them out, God never said, I hate the Canaanite people, you must wipe them out because they're Canaanites. In fact, if you look at Rahab, she is in the linealogy of Jesus. She is a Canaanite woman. So God even includes Canaanites into the bloodline of Jesus. He includes Canaanites into his people. What the hell are they talking about? God doesn't hate the Canaanites per se. He hates their structures. Their structures that destroy, that exploit the poor, the rich, and the children. Those structures are what? Political, religious, because they were sacrificing children, eating, cannibalizing them as well, killing Jews, pagan gods. God hates the morality of the Canaanites, and he judges them based on their morality. He doesn't hate the Canaanite peoples. It's not ethnically based. In fact, when God judges Israel, his own people, after they sinned in idolatry on Mount Sinai, worshiping the golden calf, he killed 3,000 of his own people. It's not based on ethnicity. It's based because he hates the immorality and they deserve judgment. And just in the same way, Canaanites, it's not that he hated the Canaanites or he hated the Amalekites. They were, their actions, their cult, their paganism, their child sacrifice demanded a just God to punish them. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that you must kill them based on the fact that they're Canaanites. In fact, God includes Canaanites into his bloodline. I can't believe that. See, that's incredible, isn't it? Has nothing to do with race. Has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has everything to do with morality and the destruction of innocence and what is a just punishment. There was a pastor from Croatia who Amma, can you please close that door? Amma, close that door. Pastor from Croatia who did not enjoy the idea of an angry God. I think I'd be angry. And this common thing that is, when he was young. Then he saw his country be overtaken, I guess by the communists, right? In Croatia as well?
Croatia, it was part of Yugoslavia at one time.
Yugoslavia, okay.
So it's
Anyways, it was taken over. I don't know the history of it. I just heard his testimony. It was taken over, and he saw everybody getting killed. He saw people getting killed. His teachers getting killed. His mother and grandmother getting killed. And he looked up to God, and he basically said, when after seeing that, how can God not be angry, seeing all this evil? See, so he realized why God would be angry. You see constant evil. You see the evil Satanists constantly eating children and pedophiles raping them, destroying their lives. You see them constantly trafficking women, conquering women, taking them as sex slaves. You see the widows being prostituted. You see the poor being exploited. And when God sees this, why God should be angry. In fact, it was only when his nation got taken over by communists that he realized, wow, a just God must be angry at this because this is so evil. He must have anger. If he had no anger at this, he would be indifferent. He would be cold-hearted. He would be an evil God. How true is that? Think about it. God's heart ache as he sees people and the evil of the world being controlled by political Satanists and Satanists. Dominating poor people. Dominating and keeping people poor. Dominating. Destroying the sanctity of marriage. Making women into whores. Worshipping gods that kill children and rape children in pedophile rings, which Donald Trump has now arrested over 3,000 in the child trafficking since he got in the president's seat. That's why they hate him. That's why they want to kill him, because he's going after the pedophiles. That's why they want to start the Summer of Rage on July 2nd to have demonstrations and peach parties all over this country to start violent riots funded by George Soros and MoveOn.org and OpenSociety.com. All George Soros institutions funding hundreds of millions of dollars into these things over the last 10 years. To bring on the European model system here, North American Free Trade Agreement, North American Union. Same thing that they're doing in Europe, imploding it. Dividing and conquering. China Eagle will bring together people. It will unify people along freedom and responsibility. There will be freedom of religion. But the dominant religion, obviously, will be the King of Kings. Because that is from which the Constitution comes that protects all the people's freedom. So people already value their freedom that's protected. They already value the law that protects their freedom and gives them responsibility. They already value that. So naturally, they will be open to the bloodline of the king and the king line that came directly from the King of Kings as a historical person, a historical source from which this culture and civilization and protection came from. They will see that the kingdom of God is real and that they can dwell within the house of the Lord.
How'd you?
Is it already 8 o'clock? I can't believe it. It feels like it's like 7 o'clock. It feels so fast. This is what happens when you have to deal with political Satanism every day.
Let's go see the koi.
Can't keep up, take a bigger time.
I want to see the koi.
Quickly to the top news. Gorka says President Trump understands we've got to destroy the ideology of jihadism if we're going to win. Here, get on my screen, guys, so I can see the headlines real quick. President Trump understands we've got to destroy the ideology of jihadism if we're going to win. Another headline news: Chicago Mayor Emanuel touts social service for illegal aliens. This is the guy under Obama who said take advantage of every crisis as an opportunity. even 9/11, anything, terrorism, anything. This is how the liberals and the elitists think. They use it as opportunities to control you. They're Satanists, political Satanists. Even though they might not literally worship Satan, they're worshiping the system and power structure of Satan and archangelism, which is political Satanism. Pamela Geller, universities normalizing anti-Semitic voices like Linda Sarsour, but silencing Jewish conservatives. In other news, 71-old Cher dons see-through top and nipple pasties at Billboard Awards. Oh my gosh. The pathetic Cher. CBS 800 churches nationwide harbor illegal immigrants. There you go. CNN Zakaria Obama could have given Trump's Saudi speech, even though he never did.
And he could not have.
He could not have, because he was apologizing for America to the Islamic world and making them feel like victims and making them feel like they're morally entitled to attack it.
He could not have mentioned terrorism 31 times.
Oh yes, you are entitled to attack the Western countries. Thank you, because we're so bad. Please attack us. There's Obama. What a pathetic pimp. Watch Netanyahu to Trump. Israel appreciates reassertion of American leadership in the Middle East. Dr. Michael Savage give President Trump a prescription to fix his presidency, which is basically get back to the people. Culture, if Trump does not keep his promises in 2018, GOP will be wiped out. Dems will be impeached. Dems will impeach President Trump.
Probably true.
This is a battle. Trump's got to move. Trump arrives in Israel for a historic presidential trip to Holy Land and also visits the Western Wall. First president to visit the Western Wall. The first president ever to visit, sitting president, to visit the Western Wall in Jerusalem.
Wow, that's amazing.
Pictures, Trump visits Western Wall Church of Holy and the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. Sepulchre. John Podesta still complaining about the popular vote.
Get over it.
And of course, at least 22 dead, 50 injured. Folks, we are living in such perilous times. You must be awake. And you must stand and rise as the kingdom of Chenyuguk is materializing before our eyes. It is the culture, the civilization, the true empowerment of humanity, and the true connection to our divine creator, which forever gives us the rights that we will protect in Chenyuguk. Man and woman will be responsible to protect those given values and rights handed to us by the King of Kings and protected by the kings of Chenyuguk and queens. They must know who they are and stand in their place to stand with the three kingships, the King of Kings and the Chenyuguk Constitution. Stand in your place. Defend your family and tribal line. Stand as a man and woman, king and queen for God. Don't give your responsibility to others and be a political Satanist. Honor God by holding to your responsibility. Honor your civilization and nation and your peoples and neighborhood neighbors by honoring your responsibility. Step into it. You can do it. It is only the archangel and the devil that tells you you may not and cannot. You must say, resist the devil, he will flee. You must say, get thee behind me, Satan, and stand. Thank you for joining us today on the King's Report this Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017. We'll see you tomorrow with Tim Elder on the King's Report, and I'll see you on the Korean service. We will be back on Thursday in this studio on the King's Report. Once again, calling out to all the kings and queens of Chenyuguk to rise up and defend the kingdom of God. God bless, Godspeed, and may his kingdom come.
Aju.
See you next time.
On Wednesday.